Good evening, ladies and gents. Welcome to OOR's Simrigs Sprint Series for round 3, featuring split yellow and green. Tonight, we'll be racing at the Kyalami Grand Prix circuit just north of Johannesburg. Opened in 1961, this track is 4.5 k's long in length, and the fastest GT3 lap is a 42 dead by the bloody legend that is Matty Campbell in the 9912. Joining me tonight is Daniel Vanderloon and George Schechter on comms. My name is Cameron Prinluz, and joining me as well as Glenn Germain behind the cameras. Just 60-minute race with 2 mandatory tyre stops and a 12-minute qualifying. We're releasing the cars onto the track now. Lads, what is our predictions?
Will, I don't know, mate, but I think Chris Cooley has got this one in the bag, yeah?
And do you know what's really appropriate now is that a guy with an English accent starts talking. So, I think it's going to be good. We're going to see some low qualifying times here tonight. I'm expecting to see some in the 40s, the 1-minute 40s. I already see a few people dipped into that during practice. So, somewhere between a 40.5, maybe a little faster than that, and upwards towards a 42. Pretty good conditions out there, though. Nice and warm as always, 24 degrees track temperature and 19 ambient on an optimum track. That's what you like for a qualifying at Kyalami, isn't it?
Indeed. Look like we got some dark cloud cover, so hopefully, unlike the Bathurst 12-hour that we had last week, we can get some lovely rains down in Africa.
Exactly right. In fact, that was a bit of a shame. Unfortunately, we did not get any rain. So last week, of course, we did have a break in our sprint series. So last week, we had the 12 hours of Bathurst. If you didn't see it, you missed out. But you can watch it again on our YouTube channel. I think the broadcast is still available on Twitch as well. So definitely go and check it out, because that was an absolutely mega race. I think a lot of people had a lot of fun. But yeah, no rains in Australia in Bathurst. But maybe, just maybe, with the overcast conditions, we'll get some tonight. But first, we've got to go through and see who's going to get these qualifying laps in. Starting off with Mr. Herbert there, immediately taken away by Kale, a 141.037. Not a bad place to start, I would have to say.
Yeah, as the times start to roll in, expect the track to just start to ramp up a little bit as we cut to Chris Cooley, of course, on a very quick lap, I presume, as he rounds the final corner. Ingwe coming up to the line, and it is straight to pole with almost a 1-minute 30, almost a 1-minute 39. It was a low 40, and Chris Cooley is setting the early pace.
That was quite a lap. Yeah, so here I am saying 1-minute 40.5s, and Chris Cooley's like, nah, mate, nah, you got that wrong. You're just proving me wrong immediately. You'd love to see it. And he's already found time through barbecue, and over he goes towards Sunset. Arguably the best corner in this, but I suppose it's a bit subjective.
Comes now for Clubhouse, and then following the ever venerable S's, got to get the left, right before the right, to say the least. Takes a lot of entry curve and a little bit of the one on the right side as well, but he's got enough stability in that car to really use as much as he won, a bit more than some others. Breaking now into Learcott and a double left-handed, a tricky traction zone, but here the optimum, pretty much an optimum dry track is no issue at all for Cooley. Coming down now for Mine Shaft. He's got to get the braking right for the Crocodiles, and the right far on the left, and then click the apex again. This is looking to be a 39 already for Cooley. Here we go for Yeeters. Doesn't get yeeted, doesn't use too much grass, and now for Ingwe. Gets it stopped, turned in nicely, and a nice clean exit on power. What's it gonna be? It looks to be a 39.895 from Cooley already. Oh my goodness. I think it's a statement of intent for what's gonna come for the rest of this evening.
Certainly is.
Well, with still 9 minutes to go in this session, I don't think we're going to see any better times than that. Like, that is, as you say, Cam, an absolute statement from Chris Cooley there.
I think all eyes now on Koza, because Koza's the one currently, I believe, leading the championship in Pro Class, and Chris Cooley hot on his heels, about 32 points behind, so if Chris is going to win the championship, he needs to start making that difference. Comes across the line, does Koza. Doesn't get anywhere close, still half a second in it between him and the top time that Cooley has laid down. That Aston Martin and that lap, that was a beautiful lap, so well done there. On board now with Herbert, he's finding time out there. But to have third place, 1.1 seconds, soon to be 0.8 of a second, I believe, off of the top time, that's a massive statement. So you've got to take your hats off to Cooley. Now that was not how you do Yeeter.
Well, I mean, that's how you get yeeted, I guess, as we see Ethan Kale with a big improvement on this lap, go straight to second place, but still half a second off of the pole time. And, well, I mean, Chris finding time all the time through Yeeter, straight down into Ingwe, gets the car stopped very nicely, made a lot of time on the brakes, but maybe he was just overshooting the corner there, coming up to the line, and it is a brand new fastest lap. 39.7. Calm it down, Chris.
Boys. Look at the widget. Look at
There's rain. Widget. There's rain in 30. Okay, that's good. I like to see that.
We've been blessed.
We're getting more rain than we ever got in 12 hours of Bathurst.
Watch it all happen between the race and the qualies. Gap in between and not happening. Oh dear. I hope I'm very wrong on that account. As Herbert in the Pit Viper, Mint Poseidon comes through the top of the hill now and on a long descent down to red with his teammate of Brimblecombe just ahead of him in the 7 Ferrari. Round 2 race winner Brimblecombe. Pro-Am ? We'll see if that continues any further, but it was an excellent drive nonetheless from Sean on that one.
Absolutely, it was more than a great drive. It was a fantastic drive from the Pro-Am driver, who currently sits P5 in the standings overall, comfortably ahead of his next rival, Harsh Kumar, in P11 overall, but P2 in Pro-Am class. And interestingly, higher than the first placed silver driver in the standings, Arno Loz, who is sat in P7 overall. So, yeah, I think Pro-Am ? Is going to become possibly confirmed silver. Never know.
I think Brimblecombe's been making a lot of improvements in the last couple of seasons. He's been improving rapidly. So it's really good to see him sort of take the top step in Pro-Am. That'll really launch his confidence in his own driving, which has been, like I said, improving all the time. There's a car sideways, not ideal, but Chris Cooley doesn't have to worry about it because it does disappear before his eyes. The magic happening out on track. Arno Loz, yeah, so Arno Loz finished 6th overall, but 1st in silver last time out. Then Sean Brimblecombe 7th at Silverstone, but 1st in Pro-Am, with Stockton being the closest competitor in Pro-Am. But at the moment, it looks like Tatlian is the Pro-Am contender who's out there making some waves. So we'll have to keep an eye on them too. But yeah, if Brimblecombe can keep up this run of good form, that Pro-Am championship is looking solidly within his grasp.
Absolutely, as we've just seen Chris Cooley improve once again to I believe that was a 39.6. Someone in chat saying that they reckon Cooley's going to end up with a 39.3 at this rate, which would just be absolute insanity.
Please stop, Cooley. That's you've done it. You've done it already, mate. You can park the car, you can relax, but that's not the kind of person Cooley is. He sees 4 minutes 40 out there. He sees 3 more laps, all of which he wants to be faster. I'm surprised about how much pace he's finding out there, but I do wonder. I mean, this Aston Martin is looking pretty fierce. We've got Loz on the camera right now, also in the Aston Martin. It looks pretty stable out there, I have to admit. Kyalami traditionally favoring the FR style cars, and I believe that's the same setup as the Aston, so maybe there's a small advantage to be had there. Who knows?
Not all of the FR style cars. Definitely some more than most. I will definitely interlude on that one, but yes, you are very right. Normally a hunting ground for the old Audi and the Porsches was Kyalami. Basically the cars with the best rotation and basically the best overall cornering speed at the times, but no, only Herbert running in at Mantle and arguably in a weaker Porsche than the old one at this particular circuit. Certain Just to cover some recent changes, obviously we had the 1.9.6 update, which changed a lot of the general BOP for this circuit. For this GT3 class when the DLC came out. To cover some of the main changes, obviously Aston had basically a rear yaw change, and that's basically unlocked the whole thing and sent it off absolutely flying at every circuit. Don't know how that has happened, but only the little things. Porsches have had 15 kilos taken away at this circuit, so definitely helping a little bit for Herbert in that case. Ferraris pretty much untouched as well. Definitely don't look as pointy as they ever are. Ooh, this looks like a car in the background went for a small death. The car number 11 of Catalan, and hopefully, returned to grid and gotten out the way of anyone else. Just to continue on, Lamborghini's had a power nerf at 7,000 to 8,000 RPM at this circuit. So definitely struggling to, let's say, very underpowered car in terms of engine power as the Lambo, and also quite draggy, so no good down the straights. Not that there is many here to really top out on. Lexus, there is the one Lexus, is Eric Scarney. I'm not sure if he is here this week in this split, but it's 15 kilos as well. There he is, there's Scarney, well known in the OR community. Good to see him in his Toyota, but also had a slight power buff.
Got to give it to Scarney's livery name there. If you look down the bottom right-hand corner of your screens, everyone, that is a fantastic livery name, team name for his livery. Ooh,
unfortunately, if you don't speak binary.
I was going to say, that looks like a Elon Musk baby name.
It's the version 2.
There's 1 minute 40 left to go, so everyone's going to be starting pretty much their last runs now for sure. Let's see how much further it get along. This car stopped a bit ahead. Obviously, that's not too much of a distraction for Scarney. Probably would have lost a little bit just to not have that uncertainty, but unflappable, I imagine, is Scarney as well, coming down the hill through my shaft. Yes, Lexus definitely probably better than it was last patch, in the previous sort of standings, but still not a sharp tool by any guys, to say the least. The only thing sharp is the corners on the edges of the car, by the looks of things. But comes around, looking to not improve, but he'll have one more crack at the clock.
Well, that's it. I feel with Scarney, he doesn't pick the car that's totally the best, but he picks the car he likes, and he absolutely loves the Lexus.
I can respect that. I'm definitely someone of the same mindset.
Yeah, I think that's an important thing. You can't hate the machine you're in unless you're chasing those really small extra little bits of time. You find the meta car that does it. I think when you choose a car that you like, you generally perform better in it, or you have more motivation to perform better in it. And not a decision I think this man here, Chris Cooley, needs to make, because he's fast in basically everything that he puts his mind to. Not finding any time out on track, is he? But not many others are. So I think you guys were right when you said 1:39.6 might be the ultimate pace. Here we go with Kale, who is finding a bit of pace out there. 2/10 on the board, nearly 3/10 as the clock does close out. He's found a lot there into Clubhouse, so that's going to be a good thing. Can he hold on to it? He heads through the S's now. Uses a little bit of time on entry. This is the closest we're going to get. I believe Koza is on an invalid lap, so he won't be going again. So all eyes on this man now, currently in third place and looking to try and find 0.7 of a second to get pole.
Yeah, Kale's just got to hope that Cooley's qualifying pace does not translate to his race pace, because he is going to be in a lot of trouble if that does. As Cooley, as we talk about him, just sets another PB, a 39.5. This is outrageous pace, and well, if this somewhat translates to the race, which I highly reckon it does, everyone else is in a lot of trouble, as we see Kale come out of Ingwe to go pit second from the championship leader in Koza, who is in the pits right now as he invalidated his last flying lap, and I'd say that basically sets the grid.
Yeah, I'd say so. Ethan K will be happy to get P2 here. I think he had a bit of a shocker at Bathurst 12 hours last week, but we won't speak about that for his sake. But yeah, I think Chris Cooley might be listening to the broadcast and went, oh, you don't think I'm going to go faster? Watch this. On board now with Walker for the last lap, finding a little bit of time out there. 2/10 on entry. Can he hold it on exit? No, doesn't hold it on exit. Goes a little bit deep and has to rotate the car more than he probably wanted to. It's going to be a minor improvement, P17 there for Walker. But we will take a look at our grid momentarily. So why don't you guys take us through it?
No worries. Yeah, good to see the OES boys fresh off a very disappointing, I can say, Bathurst 12-hour entry. 2 cars, 2 failed to finish, to say the least. But they are here, and P2, P3, the offset row, let's say, with the grid representing the orange, blue, and black. But as we look to go for deliveries, as ever, is Cooley with the children's playmat and the OES boys of Kale and Koza. Going through, looks to be Mitch Hobbs in the AVR Lamborghini, doing a very sort of good job, kind of under the radar, but definitely one to watch for a race. Oop, as one of Aston Martin's phased back in, I believe that is Arno Loz in the 450, and it's Herbert in the 45 Porsche. Sorry, there is Loz in the 555 for Aston Martin, and then the new Catalan has joined us in the McLaren, Brimblecombe in the Ferrari, and one of the Kovacs BMWs. Lapininen, and I think in the rest, we've got the Kmart Ferrari of Kumar, and there is the OES Ferrari of John Carter. Someone else want to take it away? I've run out.
Okay.
I forgot my liveries.
Yeah, that was Dan Webb there, the 111 here. Daniel Webb on your left-hand side of the screen. Then Brendan Walker on the right in the pink BMW. Nice little livery there from Webb, because he's got the little Webby on the side there. Like the nicknames. Always love it. Looking further down the grid, we've got Riley Price down in P18, followed by Nick Jones. So that's your left and right. Another Bentley on the grid there. Then Stratford lining up in the 79 Lamborghini on the left-hand side. Like the colours, that's striking. Nice and fluoro. Always love to see that in the commentary box. The Penrite livery on the side there, the 121 car of John Stockton. I do like that quite a lot as well. And we've got Douglas Keane on the side, on the left-hand side for Grass Sports. Nice, very good. And then at GTR, it's Mike Crick. Of course it is. We do love Mike, and he's been doing great work on the libraries and photos as always. Then, of course, Eric Scarney on the left-hand side, Glenn Taplin and Paul Craddock rounding out the grid in P26. Going to be quite a race. Hey, where's that rain gone, guys?
Yep, damn cursed it. 100% it would have happened in between qualifying and the race, as I believe it advances for 2 hours from qualifying. Is that correct?
I think that is correct. Yeah.
So, yeah.
My disappointment is immeasurable. My day is ruined.
For us all, man. For us all. I'm sure the drivers aren't too unhappy with that. They might all be switching back to their dry setups now, expecting that the server admins were going to...
boys probably need it to catch Cooley at this rate. Anything to disrupt the unflappable Cooley in the Aston Martin. Also, though, a very good car in the wet, along with the 296 GT3.
You're right. And, of course, first corner. Now, we've heard something about a Kyalami car park, and I think everyone who's driven at the circuit does know the inevitable effect that does happen down at turn 1. It's a wide track, you can go 4 wide, but suddenly you're finding yourself in a 1 wide situation. And right now, I'm just hoping that Split Yellow can get through the first lap nice and successfully. It's pretty hot out there. It should be able to get your tires into a reasonable space, but it's all going to come down to who's side by side with who and how you sort out the order of that. Someone's got to yield somewhere, right?
Not to be too actually, but turn 1 is the kink down the straights.
That's true. No, you're absolutely right.
But
turn 2.
we'll gloss over that.
You
but I
are
wanted to be
correct.
that guy. But yes, or let's say Crowford, the left-hander is really the actual turn 1, but I don't doubt it is in Simrace's ability to crash before the kink.
Yeah, I've seen that in
Not
the
saying
past.
it's happening tonight, not that I'm speaking for this community, but if it's happened, if cars are on track, sim races will find a way to crash them.
And actually, that's an interesting note as well, because the main straight used to be just the straight, and turn 1 was in fact where it was. But on
One of
previous
the
track
widest
layouts,
straights on the calendar.
I think you're right, actually. Yeah. But the kink used to be where Cheetah is, I believe, in a previous layout. So they've kind of shifted the kink around a few times. I believe it used to be up towards Clubhouse as well.
Rated 10
Rated
boys!
10! Yes! The rains come down in Africa. There we go.
There we go, the gods have flicked the switch, they've listened to our cries, our sacrificial lambs, our prayers, gifts to the gods, blood for the blood thrones, even though this is split yellow, split banana.
Well, looks like it's just going to be a light shower, so it's going to be a bit of a tricky period for all.
2 mandatory tire stops.
Yes, that's it. We forgot to mention that earlier. 2 mandatory stops as we are coming to 5 red lights. Holding, and lights. Cooley on the right, Kale on the left, and it's green, as everyone starts to spread out going into the kink, and it's Cooley who has made an absolute fantastic start. They are going almost 4 wide as we spoke, coming into Crown Thorn. How are they going to filter out? They're just going to make it through. They're going to have to filter at least at the most 2 wide through the Jutski sweep, as we see there is very, very well behaved. Spoke too soon. There are cars at the back there. There's yellow flags and... Ooh,
Like the safety car's been called, everyone's slowing down.
Oh,
no,
it's
Loz. Oh dear. Top 6 starter, I think, has now unfortunately hit the wall and bent the front of his car.
Oh, and championship implications too for silver class, as that is the championship leader in silver class. Oh, we'll have to look back on the replay. I did see at the corner of my screen there in the track, well, in the track map, that the 555 was going slowly, and I couldn't make out who made contact where, but yeah, we'll need a replay for that. But the field is now neutralized, and that rain is just going to come sooner and sooner.
Yes, excellent. Got my hands together like Mr. Burns. But we have seen Koza has definitely didn't look to get a bad launch off the line, but did get mugged and lost 2 positions to Hobbs and Herbert in the Lambo and Porsche. Advantageous off the line of those 2. Great to see it. And it looks like Herod was also trying to go up the inside, but it looked like, as I've seen, you got that concertina effect. A lot of cars go up the inside, and then a lot of cars end up getting slow, so those on the outside can make a lot of progress, a lot of freebies, to let's say. It looks like possibly the safety car might be in this lap, as most of the field has caught up. And no pit stops on the safety car, not that anyone will count. They'll be moot, they won't count.
Going into just
Tip
half a
button that
car,
up, unfortunately, yeah.
half a car on the track going through Bry, not barbecue, Bry. As we get back to green flag conditions, Cooley leading the field, followed by Kale, Hobbs, Herbert, and Koza rounding at the top 5. And hopefully a much cleaner start, as maybe some drivers will be looking for an opportunistic move going into Crown Thorn. But as we can see, everyone's just keeping it in line, keeping the train tracks running through Bry, and Cooley is just leading the pack. Oh, there's a bit of an inside move there for Brimblecombe, I believe. Yes.
Yeah. It's going to be on the outside though for the next corner.
The sunset, yes, as Maddox beautifully places the car there. Brimblecombe gonna try a look around the out for a switchback there. Now coming into Clubhouse, Brimblecombe does not have the ideal line, and that makes him vulnerable there for Kumar, who's going to take full advantage of Brimblecombe's, you could say, like eagerness to get past Maddox there. And now all of a sudden, Riley Price, who's made a great start, by the way, from I believe
bumper to bumper, nose and little nibble on the rear of the Ferrari. Excellent driving from all involved. Super close, but no dramas, no histrionics to say the least. Excellent stuff.
Excellent
Yeah,
stuff there. Sorry.
Yeah, we've got Riley Price up 7 positions right now. He's one of 2 on the grid that's done that. Eric Scarney's done that as well, 7 positions gained early on. And yeah, I do wonder if Maddox is holding just a little bit of damage. It shouldn't affect him too much in that BMW, but we do know that he did make that contact with Arno Loz, so maybe there's just a little bit of lack of aero, or maybe the car's not feeling quite right. It shouldn't have been too much because it wasn't a massive shunt, so to speak, for him. But you never know, that might be why he's under a little bit of pressure. Nonetheless, we go now for technically our 3rd lap of the race.
Oh, skies are getting darker. It's gone grey all of a sudden.
Oh, I can just see the rain is very much on the way as we see the 121 car.
Keen, I think, 12.
Someone had been a victim of
Oh no, 121.
Yeeta.
That's not
Yeah.
corrected.
Someone was a victim in Yeeta. As that's John Stockton in the Penrite Fire and Ice livery. That is a beautiful livery as well. Always loved the black and gold.
So we do have the pit window opening now. We've got Arno Loz, who's in the pits already, has been for about 15 seconds or so. That is unlikely to count unless he's just sitting outside the pick box, which would have been the smart thing to do. Obviously didn't want to do another lap out there, but this rain incoming. So let's talk strategy. 2 stops out there mandatory for tyres. When this rain comes down, you could burn one of those mandatory pit stops by chucking on a set of wets, getting that done really quickly, and then as soon as that rain disappears, you can go again. But the question there is whether or not you run into more rain a little bit later on and have to face a similar situation.
Well, I guess that all just depends when, how bad the track gets. If it gets to just damp conditions, I wouldn't be surprised to see a lot of drivers trying to survive the wet conditions, well, the damp conditions, I should say, with just their warm, dry tires as well.
Brimacombe's gone. I think number 7, yellow, on the exit of Yeeta.
Yes, he
Oh
is.
dear! Oh no!
there's
And another 12
involved.
of Keen.
Oh,
dear.
it's a little bit of a car park, and as they get back up to racing speed there, we've got and there's another car that's, oh, sorry, my bad, that was
Rimble
Keen,
coming
and
again.
Rimble spins again. Oh, this is from the highs of winning race 2 in at Silverstone to now just looked like a moment just before Yeeta, as Keen does make his first mandatory stop just before the rain.
Wow, that is so unlucky for Brimblecombe. Yeah, he must have had an incident towards Yeeta, and got himself yeeted, and then Keen as well. Obviously, there's no rain on the track right now, so we can't attest that to any kind of conditions out there. So it must have just been an innocent mistake, or a mistake that's going to cost him dearly, sadly. And around Brimblecombe will have to go again after going round again, if you catch my drift.
Indeed, yes. As we look to the front of the field here, we have an interesting little battle here for, you could say, 4th place between Herbert and Koza here. Koza losing a few spots off the start, actually. I believe he was starting in 3rd place. And, just lost Hobbs and Herbert making their way by Koza, who had a bit of a miss at the start, you could say.
Right, quick notification here for our broadcaster Glenn. Looks like we might be losing commentary mics on the replay camera. Just a little heads up on that. But yeah, that's unfortunate there. With the extra spin, just doesn't help his cause at all. But on board now we go with the battle between Hobbs and Herbert. Nice little interesting battle, two nice liveries, a defensive line being taken immediately there. And is that a let-through? That is a let-through, so... Or is that a back marker? We might be seeing a back marker. I think that might be Stockton, if I'm not wrong. That looked like a Penrite livery to me. So it's possible that Stockton's gone. But here we go. It's the rain. The rains are here. And this is not looking like light rain, guys. This is already a track that is greasy. There is a plus on the 10-minute rain marker. We're going to have rain for 15 minutes. At least it looks like. A lot of people going around for the dry lap on the greasy track. That's going to be risky, but probably the right thing to do. Try and extend the dries as much as possible. They're usually okay until that track starts to get damp, which could be happening very, very soon. I can see some yellow flags out there already. There's some drivers falling afoul of the weather. That's Daniel Webb over there. A penalty now being applied for Douglas Keane, number 12, 10 seconds for speeding in the pit lane on lap 1. It's just gone from bad to worse for him.
As quickly as that plus arrived, it disappeared, and now it's gone to a minus. The show is going to be a quick shower, but then going to die up quickly in a few minutes. That is a good sign if you're the drivers, to be honest, because you want more certainty that this is actually going to rain more than it, rather than a small drizzle. That makes your decision of going to wet more certain. For sure, as Daniel Webb, unfortunately, is stuck on the S's and is probably waiting for most of the cars to go, or he has a further issue with not being able to get going.
And the correction here, Firelord Racing correctly say that will be speeding at the race start, not the pit lane. Yes, that makes a lot of sense. I'm not sure what's going on with Webb here. He is parked up. Kyalami car park, not currently open, so he'll have to get that car moving at some point. I've just seen about 4 or 5 cars go yellow in the space of half a lap. So a lot of people out there still risking it with the dry tires. It's not going to be helping them out.
I think Webb's staying out, to be honest, because look, it's already gone to less than 3 minutes on the marker, so it might be too much to call. It's still greasy. It's not actually damp. That's the thing. Oh, as Herbert has made a mistake and has gone wide and stays on the track. It doesn't elect to come into the pits, but frankly, it hasn't lost too much in the grand scheme of things. No damage, to be honest, by the looks of things, and no spin. Just a fortunate mistake.
Well, I reckon everyone is looking to try and stay out as long as they can, as they would have developed all the tire pressure, all the temperature in those tires before the rain has come. And well, if they just come into the pits, they're going to have to rebuild all of that tire pressure up. Those tires are going to grain like no other as they come out of the pits and try and get as much tire temperature as they can with damp conditions. So it's not happening. It will not be happening. So I reckon they're just going to stay out and bite the bullet and then come in for some new tires at the end of this rain shower.
So the rain is scheduled to last for 3 minutes here, but it'll take another little bit of time to get the rain off the track. It is 24 degrees Celsius track temperature, so it shouldn't take too long. What are we thinking, what, 5, maybe 6 minutes until they're back to the point where the racing dries are in better order? That is Chris Cooley overlapping Douglas Keane, who's looking like he's having another issue there at the top of the hill.
Definitely. I think, yes, about probably 5 minutes maximum, we're going to see at least a rain stop. How long it takes to dry out, it's not that hot. It's gone from starting at 20 ambient already down now to 18 ambient. So not exactly the warmest of conditions to dry out this circuit. I think it'll be interesting to see if anyone who is stumped on fuel, to say the least, because they didn't have that rain marker at the start, did they? It came on during the formation lap. They only got notified during the formation lap, so they wouldn't have known the rain was coming unless they've got some cheaty app, which I think a few some of the strategies out there. But yeah, let's say at least hopefully most of them have gotten enough fuel, because with 2 mandatory tire stops and a dry strategy, they would have probably looked to have gotten into about to the 40 minute mark, as Cooley is doing his best drift impressions, because he is that far ahead. But let's say, yes, definitely fully in control with a 10-second lead over Jamie Koza, as Ethan Cale has come into the pits along with Hobbs, Herod and Herbert. So interesting to see what they do, what they put on. Yellow markings to indicate dry tires on the cars. Don't be fooled right now. They will change once their stop is done. If there are no yellow markings, it means they're on wet, and that looks to be Cale going out on. Ooh, I want to say dries, but we'll find out soon enough.
I believe they're wet.
Looks like it might be wet tires, yeah.
That's really late to put those on.
Yeah, it is really late.
I will say though, as the track conditions have just gone to wet, so this might be a little bit of a masterclass here from all that have pitted. So I just saw in the top right for the conditions, the rain did end up getting worse. So it was teetering from will it get better? Will it get worse? Will it get better? Will it do anything and all that? But it ended up getting worse. So yeah, the conditions are definitely just chopping and changing by the second.
To say the least, you have to bear in mind it is not that much of a disadvantage to take the wets now when you already have another mandatory tire stop late in the race, so you're not going to be losing out. Frankly, if you only run these for a few laps, have to bear in mind that's one thing I think I lost in that one. But we'll see what Cutie puts on as it gone to wet now, as most people will be coming in.
And that is Robert Maddox there, getting a 15-second penalty for causing that collision that caused Arno Loz and I think James Atkinson had to drop to the back of the pack on lap 1. So he has been penalised for that. We also have a stop-go 30 for Stratford, Kyle Stratford, who's now in the pits. Most on the grid have now pitted. We've got Tatlian, Cooley, Scarney. Cooley is going to come into the pits as well, of course. He's right there. Koza, Maddox, everyone's coming into the pits. So, yeah. I think that's going to be the call that's being made there. Everyone jumping onto the wets because, as we said before, you've got another pit stop to burn later on, and that is indeed wet tyres for Cooley. So, no real surprise, to be fair. And we saw the way Cooley was drifting, whether that was intentional or not. He might have known he was on camera. We'll see.
That would be
He's just a robot.
That'd be such a Cooley thing to do, to be honest. As you see, didn't you say the gap was 10 seconds from Cooley to Kale, I believe it was.
It was to Koza at the time, but Kale
sorry.
had just pitted, so definitely probably a different gap for Kale.
We'd have to see the gaps now, as I believe the gap has gone down. Yeah, 7 seconds now, but just wait for the next timing marker.
I think it's down to about 2.5 seconds. I think it is.
Go.
That's Kale right there.
There you go. Kale has completely just played the conditions to his favour there, and it's done brilliantly with this wet period. So
I know what to expect from these tires, what kind of brake, where he can brake, where he can turn in, as he's had a lap or two more than Cooley, but definitely won't count Cooley to get up to speed very quickly. But it'll be interesting to see where's the pace in the wet. Let's see how the differences between the two, and hopefully we can have a fight on our hands.
Well, both cars are known to be really good in the wet, so it's just going to be an all-out slog between these two for pace, as the rain is not going away, as Cooley and Kale locked in for an absolute battle here, as Kale has just made a little bit of time, but I'd say it's for that one lap of running that he has done, as he has a little bit of a yeeter moment. Oh, that was close. Don't play with us, man.
That gets the blood pumping.
Yeah, it really does. Love to see the gap now. Love to see, has he lost a little bit of time through that cheater moment? Yes, he has. Almost a half a second, as Cooley is taking these conditions like literally a duck to water.
Too right. Yeah, this is going to be a good battle to watch. But yeah, Cooley, he made that gap earlier in the dry. He's making that gap again in the wet. I think he knows exactly what he's doing with 42 minutes left on the clock. Wet track still out there, of course. Little housekeeping item here while we watch Herod and Hobbs and do their thing. Simrigs, of course, sponsoring our Sprint Series here. You've got split yellow currently on your screens right now, with split green coming up a little bit later on. The fresh batch of broadcasters here at Kyalami. But if you are an OOR Patreon, you do get a 5% discount at Simrigs, so go and check them out on simrigs.com. And of course, do consider becoming an OOR Patreon, because it does help out the guys in the background, the admin team, do their stuff. So definitely consider that. If you want to get joined in, there you go, there's the discount code right there. Discount to get 5% off if you are a patron. Thank you very much.
We cut back here. We're just seeing the conditions just starting to ease off a little bit there. Track might be heading to damp conditions in, I'd say, around about 5 minutes time, 10 minutes time, as so we still have a lot of drivers that haven't pitted yet. Oh, as we see Herod just having definitely a Yeeta moment there. That saying never gets old, and Hobbs will definitely make the most of that moment, and it would be very, very easily coming through into now 6th position as Cricky decides.
Chicken went flying.
That's it, as Crick has finally taken off those dry tyres and put on the wets, I presume. So we still have 3 drivers in 1st, 2nd, and 3rd, conveniently, still on the dry, still haven't made their pit stop yet. Are they trying to, like, get through this wet period?
Definitely say it's the case, although Cooley has now just dispatched the first one of them, Nick Jones. So, yep, fair enough. I think most of those guys, not to be rude, but they were at the back, so they kind of got nothing to lose, to say the least. But they are now a pit stop behind, at least a 45-second transit time, to say the least. But they are far up the grid, so all to watch. This rain is definitely sticking with us, is not going away, as we can see Cooley already looking for a little bit of wet off the line. You can see there is quite a bit of a dry, not completely dry, but there is a dry line forming, and there isn't that much water on track to actually satiate the wet tires. They need a lot of standing water to kind of keep themselves cool in these conditions.
And I believe the rain is about to go away because we've just had the update on the weather chart there. And that is, yeah, it is going to be disappearing very, very soon. That's also why we're starting to see this dry line evolve. Quick question here for you all. How many cars do you think out there haven't pitted? Well, 3, exactly 3.
Because
right.
we got the higher
people with 2s. Exactly, good. Yeah, there you go. So we've got a very brave Nick Jones, Eric Scarney, and Tatlian who have braved this situation. Oh, there's Scarney getting past right now by Cooley on track. I believe that was him because
quite
he's got
from Cooley. There's a lot to risk.
Yes, I don't think Scarney was going to do much about it because he's still on the dry tyres. So a few brave souls out there trying their best to get through these conditions. Track now damp, and that is going to evolve very quickly back to a greasy or green track, I think.
Already now, yep, damp track, as you said, and track temperature coming up a little bit from 25 now to 26, and up to 19 ambient from 18 only about a few minutes ago, as Cooley gets past the Penrite car. That is not pole position, that is a lap car. I believe that was Stockton, but yes, you can see good hunting for that wet line. But yeah, let's say I think the battle of see who was quicker in the wets, I think, has been definitely decided between Kale and Cooley. Has already ditched him by some margins by looks of things, for about 3 or 4 seconds now. So yeah, unfortunately Cooley has got the pace in the race, no matter what the conditions.
I've just had Harsh Kumar there pick up a 15-second penalty as well. Sorry, 10-second penalty, I believe that was, for a collision on lap 1. That must have happened a little bit further back down the grid. We didn't catch that on cameras, unfortunately, but there we go. So Kumar currently in P12, and he's 4th in Pro-Am. Potentially with a chance to get past Tatlian, who's just come into the pits now. That advantage that he had built here has disappeared with that contact early on, unfortunately.
See, the track conditions are now damp, so yeah, everyone's going to be looking for just any kind of water, as we see John Carter with I believe that was a drive-through penalty for an unsafe rejoin on lap 1.
Yes, indeed, and Carter down in P17 at the moment, so his race has gone in a very poor direction, let's put it that way. Currently on board with him now, so yeah, the 559 car not having a good time out there at Kyalami at the moment.
Yes, indeed. Unfortunately, was caught up in that incident with Brimacombe, and now has been given a drive-through for a dangerous rejoin on lap 1, or don't think we caught that incident, sadly, and we'll have to check back and look at that one post-race. Hobbsy now coming up to Scani's ever sideways Lexus as he is scrumming for grip. He will be getting some grip back, but not definitely not competing with the levels that Hobbsy has.
Well, I was just seeing it coming out of Lee Cop there, just squirming, and even through Mineshaft as well. Scani just struggling to keep that thing on the track. He's going for another lap, so absolute trooper. But yeah, this is not the ideal strategy, but man, it looks cool.
Something about cars going sideways in the wet, always quite satisfying. Also, if they go too sideways, things do start to go wrong. So Scotty will be hoping he can keep it in a straight line. But the sun also starting to come out here at Kyalami. You can just see it's just starting to peek through the clouds now. So we should have this track back to a sort of greasy condition, I would say probably in a minute or two. So this could come back Scani's way. But of course he's still got 2 pit stops to do, so he's going to end up suffering for this regardless, and he would have lost a lot of time out there. Last lap was a 153 flat, and everyone else has been doing 146s, 147s on those wet tires. So yeah, that's about 6 or 7 seconds slower per lap just for staying out there on the dries. So I think that's one of the reasons everyone realized that rain wasn't going away as quickly as they had hoped, and jumping onto the wet tires has saved them all about 6 or 7 seconds per lap. Throughout this period of rain that is now ending. Tatlien has come out in P12 after briefly leading the race for a little bit. Nice quick pit stop for him there. But yeah, he's got one more mandatory to go, of course, and we'll see how he goes. He's got James Atkinson on his rear bumper now, who is a fast contender. And I think Tatlien probably jumped back on the dries, so this is wet versus dry here again, and I don't know, it doesn't look
cold.
Cold, and oh, a little squiggle on the exit. Oh, it looks uncomfortable, doesn't it?
Yep, dry tyres, you can confirm by the widget there. Not the only one to recently pit as well. Jamie Koza has taken his final stop and put on a set of dries. They're definitely going to be struggling for the first few sets and first few laps as they come up to temperature and depth, so they're going to get grained a little bit due to the mismatch of temps. Good surviving from Tatlien and Atkinson were a good pass to get past, but definitely probably going to be boxing soon as well.
Yeah, absolutely. As we've had yellow flag here. Unfortunately, it is Cricky who has had a moment down at Sunset there, and he's blocking the track. Come on, Cricky, get moving, get moving. As he comes safely back onto the track there. Eventually, there you are, good man. As that is how you do a rejoin, you know.
Exactly right. Yeah, you've got to take your time. You've got to be aware of what's coming up behind you. There are some places to crash where that becomes a near impossible job. We would have seen our fair share of that at Bathurst last week. But it does get difficult, but Mike Crick doing the right thing, pulling off to the side of the road, not presenting any kind of aspect of the car across any of the racing line, and doing his best to get back on the track safely, which indeed he does. And that is a spun car. Who is that? That looks like Carter. That was John Carter. He's gone for another spin, and he'll have to do the same as what Mike Crick's just done before, and looks like he has in fact done that safely as well.
Beautiful, very nice.
Yeah. And we go, another penalty applied. Brendan Walker, 77 car, 15-second penalty for causing that collision on lap 2. I don't remember seeing that either.
Yeah, so I'm not gonna lie, I had a bit of a jump scare with Koza. I thought it was Koza that had a spin there, as Carter just making way for Herbert there, who is yet to make his stop. They're all running on very, very sad wet tires right now. It's just come up as a 15-second time penalty, and another penalty for Madford. Even bigger drive through for unsafe rejoin. Lap 6. Fortunately, I believe that was the cheater moment.
Yes, and I think there was one for John Stockton as well for an unsafe rejoin. So the stewards' pens can be heard clicking all the way in Australia and New Zealand from the stewards' room in South Africa right now, because they are going for it. But rightly so, because there was quite a number of incidents. There's another one. Stratford has picked up a 15-second penalty, causing a collision on lap 6. So yeah, I can hear those pens clicking. They are doing some work in the stewards' room today.
Sun has definitely come out a lot more. Track is now down to up to greasy and up to 27 track temperature, 20 ambient. So yeah, drying out very, very quickly. I dare say we might see even green in a few laps. Maybe even 1 or 2 away. And I think those with an extra pit stop in hand, once it gets to maybe green or fast, will decide, because I think, you know, those who have taken dries early, as we see Mitch Hobbs comes in the Lamborghini, the AVR Lamborghini, and we're interested to see what he does, as they'll have to build those pressures to whatever the conditions are. I think those who took dries early probably had to bump their pressures up a bit, just so they had some temp in the greasy and damp conditions.
Madford has just picked up a stop-go 30 for speeding in the pit lane. That is super unfortunate, but setting in P17. But you're absolutely right. Like, I mean, at this stage, you know, I think we've got a few out there that have now gone in. Kozer's gone in, Price has gone in, Taplin and Stratford. And I think we're going to see a flurry of activity now, because you can easily drive the car on the drives.
As Kuma goes to a half spin, we see it at Laguna Seca, we see it here with the tight entry, but thankfully not the full roundabout, to say the least. But yes, good point. Up to 28 now on the track, so yeah, got surely green track very short, very soon, shortly. Can't say that too many times. As Kale comes out ahead, that is Tatalon. That is for position, even though he hasn't done his second stop. And don't fight it too hard. He's got nothing to lose, and thankfully space has been given on both accounts, and Kale will not want to let him pass, because he needs every bit of delta to even challenge Chris Cooley, to say the least.
Speaking of Chris Cooley, he is coming up towards the pit entry and goes for another round. So he's still quite happy to be out there on this current tyre set. I think this lap's going to be around a 1:45-ish, 46. Let's see, about a 45. So yeah, it's not setting great lap times. Another stop-go 30. I think that's 3 laps related. That's the 17 car. Hold on a second. That's Kumar. Kumar's got a stop-go 30 as well. Oh dear.
Real shame. He was running in that top 10 region and on for a good result. Unfortunately, did have a penalty from before, but that was, you know, maybe a small little hill to battle. But a stop-go 30 is going to be, dare say, insurmountable, and it's going to drop him all the way back to the 20s, I imagine.
Yeah, that's it. And I'm just thinking that maybe some of these guys are a bit afraid to jump onto the slicks right now, as they're going to grain quite considerably early on in the stint, as a lot of drivers did decide to take dry tires in damp conditions. So maybe graining just a little bit too much coming to the latter parts of the race might be a bit of a disadvantage. That's probably why Cooley, the likes of Cooley, Scani, Jones, and Tatalan is just holding out a little bit.
Let's have a look through the field. Unfortunately, Arno lost his early incident. He is out there still circulating, but he's still several laps down, unfortunately, as I think he tried to wait until he could serve his mandatory stop, but unfortunately that meant he lost laps. So yeah, it hasn't worked out, as Kulik comes in, scuffs his mirror on the inside wall just for good measure to show off. Cooley, very keen to see the definitely not completely new, as we did see it at the real life Daytona, Rolex Daytona 24, but we did see the official unveiling along with the F1's launches of the Aston Martin new Vantage V8 Vantage GT3 car, an evolution package of the current car. And definitely interested, hoping we'll see that come to ACC, as it does look very, very fetching, to say the least. More cars to ACC, we love to see it.
Absolutely.
More GT3s, I should say.
That's it, yeah. I was just saying that Aston Martin does look very, very nice, but I'm kind of being the Ford fan that I am, I'm just itching to see that Mustang GT3. I don't know if it's going to be introduced to ACC, but maybe instead of Corsa 2 or second, if there's another ACC coming out, possibly to see the Mustang there. Really excited to see that Mustang.
Definitely a lot of hype behind the Mustang Epits, also debuting at the 24 Daytona along with the Corvette's GT3 of the C8, the proper GT3 spec, rather than the detuned GTE car. Hopefully it can be ACC's last big parting gift as the development comes to ceases. Probably not with Nordschleifer, but yes, a nice big Christmas package of an M4 Evo, an Aston Evo, and the Mustang and the Corvette would be delicious.
If they could somehow top it off with the Nordschleifer, that would be tremendous. Be just what we want. As we cut to Regan Herbert just pacing nicely in P7. It'll be P6 after Catalan makes their pit stop. And pacing nicely, actually, catching up to the back of Herod and Koza, so maybe a little bit of fight in this Porsche.
See how great this is. See how great that we got the rain. Now got an optimum track, full sun, no clouds, 28 ambient, 28 track, 21 ambient. Lovely stuff. You know, see how much better this is. Well, we've got the rain, we've got the strategy change up. Definitely not biased, as I'm not racing.
Yeah, absolutely. There's something about like when the track gets wet, like just throw a little to make a race exciting. You just chuck in a little bit of water, and yeah, this race has most definitely come alive almost with varying strategies and just a general showcase of some really nice wet weather driving, as Herbert has made a lot of ground here on Herod, as I think there's going to be a move very, very soon.
Yeah, nothing quite like changing conditions, whether it's in qualifying or throughout the race. You always love to see it. Just adds that extra dimension, and you saw the different approaches to that. Some driving through on dries through the rain, thinking, no, I can last it out, no worries. Some taking the wets for longer, some taking it for shorter. I think the optimum here was definitely going to be, just for the situation at hand, was definitely the switch to wet for a few laps, and then well, it turned out to be more like 5 or 6 or 7 laps actually, but switch it up quickly and go for it. But that's the dimension that you'd love to see. Obviously, for 23 minutes now, we have optimum racing conditions, so get those dry tyres on and full send to the end of the race.
Yeah, definitely back to on-plan strategies for those who've still got a pit stop to do. Catalan is running there in P3, but has got 1 stop to go, and unfortunately every car that he's probably fighting for is right behind them as well, so they're definitely surefire to all pass him. But he could be still on for a top 10 with a big gap back to Price from Scani, so there's definitely room for him to kind of squeeze in, and been a very good race from the Pro-Am entry, to say the least.
So the only Pro-Am out there that...
Whoa, they're wide. Herod and Herbert both go for a bit of Jim's mowing, and Herbert looks like he's got the crisscross under as Herod goes wide, and it's going to be a drag race down to the turn 1, turn 2. It is neck and neck, but the Porsche is losing out. The Aston is pulling straight and true with the twin turbo V8. Herbert, is he going to go send it on the brakes? Late. He's got the nose in. This groom given, and unfortunately he loses out to the Aston. Great defensive from Herod, and great effort from Herbert to get past, but unfortunately line formation again around the ring.
brilliant work there from Herod, just not losing his composure. He had a very, very feisty Porsche behind him, but he just kept his cool, trusted the straight line speed of the Aston Martin there, and just picked his spot and just stayed there.
That is not a long straight, but that Aston really pulled, really saved Herod there, I have to say, because they were neck and neck and they both were going at the same rate, to be honest, at the exit. But unfortunate there for Herbert.
Well, you got to play to your strengths, as Herbert makes a lot of ground in the braking zone there. That's, of course, the Porsche's strength there, just being able to brake late and just get the most rotation possible.
Might be close enough to try and move a Crocodile. Let's see, does he throw it up the inside? No, he's playing the game very sensibly here at the moment. Waiting for Herod to make that mistake. A little mistake there. Doesn't hit the apex, does the old Crocodile, but you can't go too wide through Yeeta. No, you cannot. So single file they go again. The shorter inside line, the narrower inside line there for Herbert does make him run a little bit wide. I'm sure he had a moment of panic, a little bit of counter steering as he ran over the exit curbs on Cheetah. And here we go again for round two, but yeah, I think the Porsche is just going to have to tuck into the slipstream and hope that mistake from the Aston Martin ahead comes somewhere in sector 2. That's probably going to be the best chance, so let's keep an eye. But they are coming up on blue flag traffic, so this game could change very quickly with the traffic ahead.
There's a huge flurry of blue flag cars there, just creating a little bit of extra dimension for this battle here. As, I believe those two are also in a battle. It's Walker and Matt Taplin
A
and
moment for Herbert. He had a crisscross going.
Oh my goodness, is Taplin doing his best to get out of the way but not lose too much time, as he is effectively in a battle. He was in a battle there with Kuma, who's sitting in a lowly 19th place.
That's an awkward place to get a blue flag out of Sunset as you're coming through Clubhouse. Not a pleasant place, but you've got to find the track width there. You've got to use it as much as possible to try and get out of the way, but it's part of the track gets rather skinny, unfortunately for them, but these two navigating it very, very well. Herbert just took the opportunity, said, right, there's a slow car, I'm just going to have to go for it, and the blue flag's going to have to get out of my way because I need to stay in this battle as much as possible. It feels like the Aston is just not getting the rotation that the Porsche does.
Yeah, unfortunately, you just wham down the straights. Like, I think we're seeing what, like, you know, dare say, like, Curly is definitely doing a great job of getting that thing through the corners. But the speed that car just gets on the straights, especially over the Porsche. I know the Porsche is definitely not a strong contender when it comes to straight line speed, but yeah, the gap that they pull at the track, which has as short straights as here, that's scary. Not gonna lie. But Porsche quick through the corners, tighter lines, tighter exits. Sorry, go on, Daniel.
That's alright. I'm just thinking like a difference in setup, maybe. Like Herod choosing to run a lot less wing, hence the very sketchy moments through Yeeta, through Sunset, and through this as well. Just trying to keep the car just on the track while the Porsche has a bit of a high wing setup. So very, very good through the corners, as we see Herod just a little bit wide there. And this is effectively a battle for the top 5, so a lot to play for both drivers.
Yeah, you'll have to see it. You've got all the differences between the cars, of course, their advantages and disadvantages, and with the bot that's been recently released by ACC, bringing everything at least a little bit closer together. You can, choose to play to your advantages or try and lessen your disadvantages with your setup, and it creates some really interesting comparative racing out there between all these different cars, and we're seeing one of those right now. Sort of cornering speed, I suppose in dirty air as well, versus straight line speed, and it does come down to the nature of the car. Fundamentally, that Aston does just have big legs on it.
Nothing accelerates like a Porsche, but yeah, not enough to overcome that speed advantage from the Aston Martins on the exit. Excellent though driving from Herod, definitely not been intimidated whatsoever. As we look to another close battle just up the road between Hobbs and Koza as a fight for the final place on the podium, also encountering traffic as well. really to see so much close playing after all the different pit stop strategies and especially on track. We come now to Sunset with Ricardo ahead. There's going to be a little bit of a wash, to say the least, but and definitely a little bit of a distraction, especially as it goes wide. You can't really use all the exit. You have to keep it slightly tight, but so does Koza as well, so not too much time lost, but they both get through.
So quickly having a look at who's leading what category so far. Of course, Chris Cooley leading pro category at the moment and the race. Scotty is technically in the lead of silver category right now, but still has a pit stop to serve. But his nearest competitor is Walker down in P15 after we had the likes of Carter getting slammed with a bunch of penalties and stop goes. So unfortunate for him, but yes, Scotty could potentially be on here. He's certainly on for a top 3. So we will see. This battle continues here. Pro-Am category, Lou currently leading us away. Got Jones there with 1 stop to do, and that'll put Tatley in potentially up to P2 in Pro-Am. And then we've got Atkinson in the Am class, who's solidly leading that at this stage with Mike Crick coming in for his last pit stop. Now that's very wide from Hobbs, does keep it together on the exit of Yeeta. Then to Ingwe we go. Might have just dirtied up the tyres a little bit, won't necessarily have as much grip as he did the last time. So let's see, can Koza in the Ferrari try and find a way around? Much closer, but Ferrari versus Lambo. Lambo's got that speed. Let's see, under braking, it's a different story.
As we see just line astern there, as Koza just having a little cheeky look up the inside there, through the Juski sweep, through Bry, not Barbecue, Bry, as they're still line astern. Hobbs regains his composure and leads for another lap.
Two very steady operators, very speedy but also very safe drivers, I will say, between these two. Definitely been around more than a few times around sim racing and the OR scene, but yes, for sure, definitely won't be seeing too many crazy banzai half-measured moves, I think, from these two. And definitely interesting one to watch. Yes, not an easy place to get a pass done here. It is all about commitment and mistakes, in my opinion.
But it's
Scotty does box finally. Sorry to interrupt.
No, that's quite all right. Scotty at last one with the yeah. No, it's certainly one of those things, isn't it? Because while there are some very wide parts of the circuit, namely the pit straight and going into turn 2, the rest of the circuit is basically single file, especially through the Juksai into Bry, where you absolutely have to nail your line through Juksai, otherwise you are completely in the wrong place to nail the Bry corner, which of course leads you onto one of the only straights you've got into Sunset, where you need to carry as much speed as possible. So, and then suddenly you're into Clubhouse, then suddenly you're into the S's, then you're at the top of the hill in a hard braking zone where there's no room on the inside and a blind top of the hill into that braking zone. There really isn't a good place to find an overtake, so you are relying on those mistakes, and so it's all about the consistency today for these drivers out there.
Definitely very much a one-line track for the most part. It is a great driver's track, but yeah, I'm not sure it's... I've never had too much great success in terms of racing and jockeying for positions here, unless there's been very big deltas between the drivers, and that's why I'm never that... As much as I'd like to see F1 come here and return to the South African continent, I don't think this track will be a very strong contender for races, entertaining races to say the least. But yes, we'll leave that as it is.
I agree, and also it's certainly got an FIA grade status of 2, so they'd have to make some probably fairly significant changes to the track to get it to a grade 1.
Ingwe literally is off a cliff. It's actually like it's actually held up with supports on the exit of Ingwe as it goes. Pretty much the hill just completely goes off straight away. I believe this track is owned by the South African Porsche region as well. So interesting, yeah. A few upgrades. I think it's fine how it is. GT racing. Unfortunately, we don't get to come here very often. It is in a very tricky part of the world, and I don't think it even is on to this year's ICGT calendar. Speaking of ICGT, Bathurst 12-hour week in real life. Can't wait this weekend. Seeing people already setting up. I'm very jealous. Already at the Oxford Hotel having bevies. I do wish I was there, but I heat struck last time I was there, so I'm kind of happy to sit home at air conditioning and watch it all.
That's fair, but there's nothing quite like being at a race like that. I mean, especially
absolutely.
when it's at Bathurst.
Sight, sounds, atmosphere is unreal.
Exactly, yeah. I do fondly remember the first time I saw GT3 racing cars in person, and it is something quite special, something very, very special. Speaking of GT3 cars, this battle right here is closing up even further, and we're going to switch away from it immediately to watch Brimmelcombe come back on Walker. Brimmelcombe's been in a bit of a fight back mode here. I had been watching Brimmelcombe, went for another yeet at Yeeta, unfortunately. Hasn't got that corner quite right all evening, so his confidence there is going to be lacking, but we know he's probably got the pace on Walker based on the qualifying times. And
look, a touch.
That is a touch, yeah. The Ferrari's so good into the braking zones, but Brimmelcombe not accounting for the fact that BMW's got to brake about 15 meters earlier.
As we go back to the fight for the final spot on the podium here, and it's just basically line of stern as Koza just doing everything that he can just to shake up Hopsy here, as going up, up the inside of the crocodiles, and he
got it stopped.
Hobbs will have the drive, but who's going to yield at Yeeta? It is going to be Koza, and Hobbs using absolutely every bit of the track and more through Ingwe, and it's just another lap, and Koza really doesn't have much time left. 10 minutes to go in the race, and he really, if he wants to make a move, he's got to make it within the next few laps.
I think we're going to have to officially rename the crocodiles to Crocodile. I think it's very, very good. So, the Crocodiles. Yeah, no, he has to make it happen, and it does have to make it happen pretty soon. But yeah, this has sort of been a bit of a push-me-pull-you sort of situation as the dual cameras do come up, and we're looking at this battle going on between Herbert and I believe Herod as well. So keeping an eye on both of these battles, of which we've got the camera 2 focusing on the battle for 5th place, and the camera 1 focused on the battle for P3 at the moment. So two very, very important battles to be watching towards the end of this race.
Thank you very much, Glenn, for getting this set up for us. Definitely the fight between 3rd and 4th, the Lambo and the Ferrari, is a little less apple and oranges as it is for 5th and 6th, maybe a bit more apples and pears to say the least, as the cars are a little bit more similar and definitely not as offset as the Aston Martin and Porsche battle ever raging on as well. I think, yes, a very good, ambitious move, but he did get it stopped. He did get the apex with Koza down the hill as he is too far back to have another sender at this lap. But the good driving as well from Hobbsy as well to maintain the pace around the outside and then get the was far enough ahead to take the main line into Yeeta.
So just a quick note here for Glenn, our broadcaster. We've had a significant volume increase on a couple of things. One of those is in the comms room chat, and then the other is what we've just got into now. So a spike in volume happening. So just FYI on that.
As we see Hobbs and Koza again. Koza trying around the outside this time, and Hobbs is just going to keep it parked up on the apex there, but that is going to leave him vulnerable, possibly for the Jutski sweep. And through Rai, still keeps P3, but Koza putting a lot of pressure on.
Got to run.
As they come through Sunset, Koza's going to try and sweep around the outside, but nothing doing there as Hobbs still keeping P3. 8 minutes to go, and don't forget P5 there, because Herod is under a lot of pressure. He's been under a lot of pressure from Herbert for the last 15 minutes, I'd say, as we have a car off. That is Ben.
That's Walker.
Unfortunately, who was contesting for the silver class win, but I believe with that mistake, Scani is now in the clear. As a little bit of a move, Learcop was a little bit of a chance there for Koza going into that corner, and nothing doing as he's going to try for another move down into the Crocodiles. Maybe, he just goes back into line, and another lap, I'd say.
Hobbsy's rear tyres must be hurting a little bit because the way he's driving is definitely a lot more on the nose in the way the Lamborghini is set up. He's definitely a lot more darty, but those rear tyres are kind of probably suffering a little bit for it. He's a lot more sideways on the exits as opposed to the Ferrari. Ignore the Aston Martin behind, the one with all the paint on the nose, as Koza's got a good run down here for the slipstream. He's going to go right, he should have gone left, and he's going to contest into the braking zone and see who brakes latest. Maybe he brakes too late. He's going to hold it around the outside. Is he going to be left far enough to keep his nose in for the next corner? Yes, he is, and I think he has cleared Hobbsy. Oh no, but he's left space and had a little slide. They're still side by side into Bray, and who can keep the momentum? It looks like it has been Koza. There's a little bit ahead of the Lamborghini, but has cleared him and gone ahead. Excellent racing from the two of you. Fantastic.
Top stuff. He was on the right side of that battle this time, even though he did run it on the outside of Crowthorne.
Oh,
that's late! No! Hobbs late on the brakes, and he's hit Koza, and that's going to drop them both back 2 positions, because there is Herbert and Herod, who now retake the battle that was 3rd and 4th, is now a battle again.
All that work that the championship leader has gone around and is dropped back to, oh dear, I believe to P6. I believe, once our timing board updates, but that has now put this battle on screen. Now this is now for P3, to say the least, as Herod now takes up the P3 slot with Herbert in P4. Herbert now knows that it's all to play for. Is he going to send it? Oh, it's just, the Aston gets a bit too much drive and a bit too much power down the straight, so he can't contest into the braking zone, but he's there, he's nibbling right on that bumper the whole time. The Pit Viper strikes. Will it strike? Oh, but he keeps it on the track.
Somehow, not having a Yeeta moment there, and by the looks of things, Herbert does get the better run, but we'll have to tuck into the slipstream of that Aston, who is pulling on the straights. Absolutely fantastic stuff, but maybe, just maybe a late break move here for Herbert. No, just stays in line there as Herod now from P5 to very, this might be the most easiest P3 he's ever gotten.
When the waves
Never
part
say
in front
never.
of you and you go straight to a podium position, it can feel pretty good, but right now he's got other things to worry about, which is that Porsche behind him. This battle going on for so long, though, he will be under a lot of pressure, as will Herbert, because he's now staring down a P3 in this race. Yellow flag up ahead. What's going on here? It's a car off the side. That's Douglas Keane. Is it Kumar? Might be Kumar, actually. Yes.
McLaren.
I think that might be Keane, the number 12 car. That is indeed Douglas Keane. No, that's quite all right. But yeah, the battle will rage on. Hobbs is 2 seconds behind this battle at the moment, but Koza has lost out nearly 8 seconds to that position. So I'm afraid that's probably all over for Koza at this stage of the race. A real shame to see that, but that's what can happen if you try and brake late. So you're trying to outbrake a Ferrari as a Lamborghini, and yeah, if you choose the same braking zone, you're not going to find yourself slowed down in time.
I'm part of the OES clan. I know Jamie very well. He's a very calm, very cool operator, but I doubt he would have not called out his number, having received a tip and spin from the Lamborghini. Hobbsy does have definitely got time to influence this battle as well, but pending a penalty if the stewards decide he was at fault for that collision. We'll wait and see before casting any judgment.
Speaking of collisions, Brimble Cove does pick up a 15-second penalty for causing a collision on lap 28. Not one that we saw on camera. I think there was a little bit of a pushy shove. That might have been when Walker got spun around, potentially, because we do know those two were battling out on track. So possibly something to do with that incident we just saw. But 3 minutes on the clock. It's really heating up. This battle is fantastic. Let's go on board now with Herbert for some beautiful onboard shots. We head through sunset, one of the last times in the split yellow race, and what great shots we've got. You've got beautiful sound on the
Call this
Porsche.
the Sean Muller camera.
It is. This is the Sean Muller camera. Very true. And good shots it is. He's absolutely right to enjoy this. That said, the Aston Martin, arguably one of the better sounding cars on the grid, but a very subjective opinion, of which I've now given opinions, so chat will probably chew me out a little bit in the next few minutes.
You are not going to be very popular with all the Porsche purists out there, because including myself, Porsche.
Are you not here?
Hey. Best sounding car, the McLaren. Hey, fight me.
Oh god, you are actually weird. It sounds awful in this game.
I didn't know you liked vacuum cleaners that much.
They sound great. White noise, mate.
Half out to back 6.2 meter V8 sprints.
As we see,
Oh, it's a wide
Herbert
exit.
A little bit of a mistake here. That
Good
leaves the
run.
door open for Herbert. Herbert's going to cut.
Bye-bye.
This time
Much
around,
closer.
Herbert is much closer to maybe put on a move here, going into Crown Thorn.
It's now or never.
Herod does,
Go for it.
Herod does break very late there, and Herbert tried to get to the inside there, maybe for a dive up the inside there. That was probably his best chance. And now going through Barai, Herod just again keeping his composure, and I swear he's been, that Porsche has been behind Herod for I reckon around 25 minutes now. He's got to be getting frustrated.
I think that was the opportunity there, wasn't it, on the straight, but just couldn't make it happen. You can see that the Porsche, you can just turn it in a little bit more, does run a bit wide, that's going to free up Herod just that little bit through the S as we go, but another opportunity coming down towards Crocodile, but he'll have to absolutely nail the top of the hill.
Really about to come around for his second to last lap, so there will be one more from this lap as well, still.
So that means we will get 33 laps in this race today. With how many were in the wet? We had about 10 or 15 or so, somewhere in that range, I believe.
Has absolutely flown by since that has happened. It's been some absolutely cracking racing, cracking driving.
Couldn't agree more. Got some comments in the chat about having a Porsche behind you when in an Aston is a bit scary around here. Yeah, I think we can agree to that. But that's evermore the hats off to Herod, who's been holding on. Hobbs has picked up a 15-second penalty for that collision with Koza. So there is the penalty being handed out by the stewards for that late collision that has sent both Hobbs and Koza out of the challenging for this P3 position that we're now on board with. The timer does run out on the race. The split yellows race at Kyalami, 60 minutes here for the Sprint Series, is coming to a close. Chris Cooley has been leading calm and competently at the front and not giving anyone a chance at all. Kale did hold on for a while, but that gap has just gotten a lot bigger in the last 10 laps or so. So Kale, P2 in this race, it appears, and then we'll be going back on board with the laps, final part of the lap for this P3 battle. Will Herbert be able to pull off some kind of move? Can Herod keep it together? Let's keep an eye. This is the last lap.
Yeah, unfortunately, on the last chance that he has dropped back to about 8/10, which is quite a lot around here when it comes to battling for position. But yeah, unfortunately, this might be day done for Herbert. It's been unflappable from Herod. But here we are, Chris Cooley, masterclass of the field, takes the win. Dry, wet, upside down, left or right. It's no matter what conditions are. Chris Cooley is taking it by what is looking like a 17-second lead over Ethan Kale, who now comes off. No, but he goes for a hard spin. Tries to show off on camera, and unfortunately, looked like an absolute mug.
He's just doing his best Chris Cooley impression, that's all.
And here we are.
A little bit camera shy there as Herod holds on for a brilliant podium placing there. Just edging out Herbert there for third place. Brilliant driving from the both of them, I must say, as Herod is absolutely loving life right now. Same cannot be said for both of those drivers there. Hobbs and Koza will be lamenting that, especially Hobbs there, with a bit of a late move there that did not play out as he would have hoped. Lou there, getting P1 in Pro-Am.
I think he's just been nabbed.
Yeah,
Maddox has just pipped Lou at the end.
Oh, well, there you go. Oh, that's going to hurt the points just a little bit there. Price coming out in 9th, and Talian rounding out the top 10 there, with Atkinson, a brilliant P11 from the amateur driver there, with Scarni taking out honours in the silver class there. Brilliant driving from all
Green light. Go, go,
Yeah,
go.
exactly right. No, a solid race there from Split Yellow. Nice to have that rain in there. Very, very good. And some battles towards the end. You absolutely love to see it. Cooley, though, dominating performance. And that is going to help him massively in the championship. I believe he's running in P2. So that'll be P1, I believe, in the pro class for him. So we'll see how that goes. But yeah, Lou, great performance there. Didn't quite catch who was the silver class winner on screen. And
That
we
was
also have
Scarny.
Atkinson. That was Scarny. That was indeed Scarny. Yes, too right. So well done, Scarny. Hashtag Scarny for pro, remember?
Yes, we'll have to come back to that one as we take a look at the. You want to take a look at the rest of the grid there?
I have currently lost my Discord stream at the moment.
That's all good. I'll take over. So as we run through the results again, Cooley takes out the win by 22 seconds at the very end there. Ethan Kale in second, and Herod with a brilliant podium there. P3. That rounds out our pro podium nicely there. First in Pro-Am is Lou with Talian in second, and Jones scraping out the top front, scraping out the podium there, just pipping Brimblecombe, who had to take that 15-second time penalty right at the end there. And in silver class, well, there was only 4 entrants, but a silver class podium is still a silver class podium, with Scarny taking out honours there, Walker in second in the BMW, and Carter, despite all of his troubles there, with P3 in silver. And of course, in the amateur class, Atkinson with a dominating win there, taking out P11 overall. And for the remaining drivers there, Cricky in second. Brilliant result for Cricky there, keeping out of trouble. He was stationary for a little bit there, had to get back on track there. Taplin in third as well, with Stratford rounding out the AM class.
Yep, so as we wrap up in Split Yellow, thank you to my co-commentators George Cook and Daniel Cicluna for joining me. They'll be switching over now to Split Green over a short break, and we'll be back very quickly.
Welcome back, everyone, to the Octane Online Racing Simrigs Sprint Series. We are now back with Split Green at Kyalami, and I have joining me in the box tonight, Cameron and my Valentine, Connor Hind, tonight. How are we, guys?
Beautiful, Floki. How are you, my Valentine? This is a track, that's all I'll say.
Yes, this is a track. Cam, what are your thoughts on Kyalami, mate?
Oh, Kyalami. I think it brought a lot of awareness to a lot of sim racers. It was a bit of an unknown track before it came to ACC. Has become quite a favorite ever since. It's a very good driver's track, very tricky track to get passes done, but definitely one to watch. We'll see what cars are coming out on top and what drivers, but yeah, always a good showing here and the circuit north of Johannesburg.
Yep, one to watch is certainly right. It's, as Connor said before, it's definitely a track. It's always been pretty spicy here in the Sprint Series. We've seen the last few instances here either end up in absolute calamity or varied weather to really spicing things up. We saw in the last race before this one that there was definitely a rain event that definitely causes a bit of calamity there. So we see the drivers take to the field now for 15 minutes of qualifying. We see Ben Hignett out there first in the Ferrari. What kind of times were you expecting tonight, guys?
Well, I mean, if it's going to stay optimum, depends how good what state of optimum it's in at the moment. But I reckon your front of your grid or your pole will be a 39 something, maybe a low 40, and then we'll stretch back from there.
Yes, I believe in the race that just passed, Kyalami did manage a 39.6 in the Aston Martin. Not many Aston Martins, I believe, in this split. It's mainly Ferraris, and I think even Kale and Jamie Kosa were floating around those low 40s. So I think we'll see, yeah, echo what Connor said around that high 39, low 40s bracket.
Not being much of a Ferrari man myself, but this split definitely being Ferrari gang tings. Connor, you might be able to help me out here, mate. Is Kyalami a decent track for the Fezzer, or do we find it a bit more? I mean, I know how you find what you think of the track from a Ferrari standpoint. Is it any good around here?
It's okay. It's definitely not the best, but it's not like some of the other tracks where the Ferrari's really bad at. Like, it's okay. Like, it's fine to drive. This track's not fine to drive, but I've just lit the whole like YouTube thread on fire by saying that. But it can't compete with the cars like the Merc, the Aston, the Audi, cars that can really use all of the curbs around here and can get great acceleration out of corners. The Macca now, especially as well.
Yeah, being a McLaren man, I've never liked Kyalami. I've always found the McLaren just never worked here in any of its iterations. So it's never. We're just looking at the YouTube chat now, and we've got Ferraris can go in the bin, but then everyone else backing themselves up that Kyalami is one of the best tracks. I will disagree with all of you. You're all wrong. Kyalami can go in the bin, but hopefully tonight we have some really good racing. We've got some fast names in the grid tonight. One name to mention who is not on the grid tonight is our current undefeated 3-race winner, championship leader, Brad Cook, who unfortunately cannot join us tonight.
Damn bagging.
Yeah, look, it's definitely a poor performance by him. I don't think it's anything unfortunate. I just think he got scared of all the competition coming up, and he shaken in his knees, and he decided to quiver in his boots and stay home.
Yes, absolutely. Brad definitely is just not here because of pure fear. It's got nothing to do with the fact that there is no power currently where he's living and can't access the server at all. It's definitely fear. We've seen that Rashmat in the Bentley, who has been mighty quick lately, put a nice little banker in of a 40.6. Hignett there with a little bit of a slower time there of a 41.4, I believe. But these times will definitely climb up the board as we see a few more people come across the line.
Yeah, absolutely, and like people will get their laps in. I reckon another car is the Bentley. It's stupid straight line speed here. I know Jake Brown and Jack Steele have been lapping quite significantly as well over the coming days to prepare for this race, so they'll be dark horse contenders to get up there, as will Yoda, Weatherburn in P7. Here's another man on screen. Hignett will be close to the top somewhere. Where's his best mate, Jer Coleman? Oh, he hasn't set a time yet, so that's another person who will, of course, be towards the top.
Yeah, absolutely. As we see, Hignett now comes across the line, and Rashmat comes back with a 40.662, which I think is thousandths of a second faster than his previous time. We're on board now with Jer Coleman, who looks to be putting in his first banker lap of the session. As he comes across the line, we can see that he has done a 44.4. That is invalidated. He's clearly had a little bit of a moment there during that lap, but he will no doubt be tightening the belt straps going again. You see that the top two really only separated by a couple of tenths at the moment, but we'll stay... We'll jump on board to Hignett, who is roughly about a tenth up at the moment. He only needs 2 tenths to pit pole at this stage. Got Brown and Steele not too far behind him. Smith also in the running there, so it's good to see a couple of silver drivers make their way up. And you've got Greco and the Pro-Ams there making the top 10, which is always fantastic to see. And he's gained it back, coming back through the hairpin. This comes through Mineshaft now. He's got Rashmat right behind him, potentially getting a little bit of a tow there, so we could see that there might be a little bit of speed to gain there. The Bentley is ridiculous in a straight line. He's lost it on exit, and he's invalidated as Rashmat does have nearly 3 tenths. Just goes a little bit wide, but he's going to keep the 3 tenths up there. It depends on how he's going to go through. He does have Hignett in front of him, potentially compromising him, and he will come across to do a 40.4.
Good lap. Good lap.
Great lap.
Yes, hot off Bathurst is Rashmat with a very strong performance in shootout and in the races as well. Like, very interested to see what that Bentley and that he can produce at this circuit, whether it can match Cooley's 39s to say the least. But yeah, Ferraris. I think echo what Connor says. I've not really driven a Ferrari much, but very capable car. I think it's good over a stint, very, not too deafy or anything like that, but it's lacking the 1 lap pace, I think, akin to Bathurst last week as well.
Yeah, it's more of a race car than it is a quali car, and like it is what it is. It has different strengths than other cars.
That from Steele.
Yeah, he's on here. Let's see what he comes out of the final corner.
Potentially
And bang,
P2. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, nice.
Well done.
Good lap, good lap. And Jake Brown puts it in the P3 behind him in the Porsche, so those laps have definitely been kicking in for those boys. But yeah, I think it's... And this is the kind of track too where you need a 1 lap pace car to kind of put yourself high up the grid. Like, you can't really drag, because you've got to be so on it across the whole lap. You can't really drag a car that's not good in quali all the way to the top.
Yeah, absolutely. Kyalami is definitely one of those interesting tracks where it doesn't really feel like there's many opportunities to pass. I think we can see a couple examples of that in the race before us, that you can potentially get stuck behind somebody here if you don't have the straight line speed to drag them up the main straight. Those more favoured towards downforce and corners, as we see Yoda here 3 tenths up, that will push him up into 4th. That's a great lap by him. Giacomin has also set a lap. He's currently 6th at the moment, so he's right behind Hignett.
P2 to P5, even 6, is separated by 2/10. That's ridiculously tight.
Absolutely, and it's fantastic. It's going to put in some close racing later on tonight, which I am extremely keen to see.
As we see in chat, real pros should be doing 28s, and I agree, although it should be under 1 minute. So, you know.
Yeah, just 28 seconds. Flat.
Maybe
Hybrid
that's how long you take to run to the bathroom between pit stops.
Yeah, that's it, and that's your quality time.
Absolutely.
Done.
That's your quality time.
A few yellows out there as people are looking to RTG and then get the... Oh, yeah, there's a car backwards there.
Can't park there, sir.
Ah!
Can't park there,
Got him.
mate.
There's one ball with Hignett coming down. What's this? This is Mineshaft and the Crocodiles, isn't it? And he fires. He's got a bit of time here because he lost a bit of time on exit of both these last 2 corners, didn't he? So, oh yeah, he's definitely. Good job, Ben. Oh, he's gained a little bit on X. Oh, and he's. Good job, Ben.
That third sector really showing itself to be Hignett's Achilles heel at the moment. He's all up on the time through the first 2 sectors and then does appear to lose it a little bit during Crocodiles and Cheetah, which are 2 very difficult corners to get right. The Crocodiles, I think, has about 1,000 different lines that you can take through it, and then Cheetah has 1, but it's deathly and everyone's scared for their lives as they go over it. So you just got to absolutely send it through Cheetah. But it is as he goes out wide and invalidates that one. That's a bit of a shame. Rashudi here on the charge. He's 9/10 up. This will bump him up very high up the leaderboard. Hits the apex a little bit on Cheetah. A little bit of a bounce there. Comes in through the last corner now. He is going to keep those 9/10 up. He's just got to keep it on exit. Very good. This should shoot him up well and truly into the top. And he puts it into 7th. Well done.
That's where he should be. I was going to say it's quite far down for Ricciardi. The Lamborghini Stapier, Mr. Santa Bolognese, likes his Lamborghinis. And
the brand loyalist.
Brand loyalist, absolutely. I wish we had some Audis here as well, just a good measure, but I don't think if they wouldn't be the quickest, not too sure where the Audi stats these days. It kind of, it's like it falls up and down like on a staircase, to be honest.
I think it's still very good here, I think, because this is known as one of its stomping grounds for quite some time. And I still believe it's quite a good car here.
Wide, that's invalidated.
That is pushing the limits there for Still.
Still using every inch and more so of
to
the
see
track.
Where these Porsches stand out, because we had Herbert in the last split, and it looked very quick, but he was just stuck by the Aston for about half the race. And so I think it's going to be tough in the race for these Porsches if they can't progress.
We definitely would have been able to have known how the Porsche would go if, Brad Cook wasn't scared and decided to show up tonight.
Yeah, I don't know, mate. He is very scared, so he was probably only putting in 41s at this point, where the Porsche should be. We've only got 2 minutes left on qualifying at the moment. We see Giacomin hasn't been able to improve on his initial, I would say, proper banker lap at speed, which is a 40.8 at the moment. But he comes through the last quarter now, and he looks like he's geared himself up to really send it into this next lap. He'll be definitely looking to try and get himself above the rest of the Ferrari gang here, as we see. It looks like, from 2nd to 9th, we have more than enough Ferraris. Let's split that up, guys. Let's bring a few more manufacturers into this split and make things a bit more spicy. But we see as Giacomin comes through the first sector, he hasn't really gained much there, but Hignett right behind him, looking to gain a little bit of the toe.
these guys haven't been on track together at all, ever. They're obviously just strangers at this point.
Yep.
But this split for quite a few seasons now, like obviously you haven't raced or commentated in this split for a bit, Cam, but has been quite dominated by Ferraris. It's kind of like the Ferrari party up in here.
I stand by the meme I made. It's like, this is brilliant, but I like this. That points to GTR.
Yes.
It was just see Jake
And I
Coman
know
there
I've
has-
got a GTR staple of Johnson behind it with me in the box, so I'm not alone.
Look, I think between all three of us, mate, I think if you talk to Connor as well, we are huge fans of the GTR. Some more committed than others, Connor. As a real true GTR loyalist would run them in the Bathurst 12 hour. But I'll leave that comment to stand. But we saw Giacomin there did lose it through the second sector, through the S's. So he has gone wide, and I don't think Giacomin's ever going to put in another fast lap. So that might be him done for qualifying. And yeah, no, that'll be him done for qualifying. So he will not improve on that 40.8, and I don't know if 6's going to be safe enough for him.
This is going to be spicy too with the likes of those. Jake Brown decides to get the tail wagging on that Porsche. Was saved it on exit. There'll be a bit of clenched cheeks there, I reckon. As Hignett has gained a bit of time out of that turn there. It's definitely a track where you have to nail everything to see the time crawl. You make one small mistake and bam, it just drops off. So we're watching Ben, and he's just kind of gaining a little bit of time everywhere. So I wonder how many tenths he's got in hand.
Last lap, do or die, nothing to lose. Push that a little bit harder into the corners, carry that little bit extra speed. I find that's where the aliens really make their pace. They don't really make big gains in one corner, as they make little gains, incremental gains across every corner. And you know, 7 tenths in one sector can be a lot, but if there's 7 corners, it could be a tenth a corner, and that's where all the time adds up. But yeah, good steady standing right now from Hignett. We'll see how he goes for the rest of his lap. Yeah, as said before, sector 3 not been his strongest sector. I think it's where the Porsche definitely stands out at the most at the circuit. Good turn in and decent exit, not too wide. He's got half a tenth in hand. Let's see how he goes through Cheetah. Clips it nicely, gets a good run on the exit. Momentum kept up, about a tenth in hand. Bit of a shallow turn in front, but big gains. Oh, a little bit down up, but it looks to be about a 10. A tenth might be enough, and takes him up to P3.
Good lap.
Great
Excellent work.
Well done.
He
We knew
still
he had the
had
pace, and
Still had a couple of tenths in it from sector 1 too that he lost going up the hill.
Kudos to how close that grid was. 1/10, and he went forward 3 positions, I believe. Excellent stuff.
And I think the top 8 there all separated. I think from 2nd to 8th or 9th was separated by about half a second. So this is going to be a extremely tight field. Looks like it's going to remain sunny and optimum for this split. So not a lot of rain dancing happening in chat at the moment. So maybe can I get a few dance emojis in the chat just to see if the second half of this race might get a bit wetter.
It was sunny when we started last race.
Exciting.
Well, it could be a car park into turn 2. Kyalami is incredible in the fact that it's about as wide as a country down the straight and into turn 1, and then suddenly narrows into the Murray River into turn 2 and 3. So
No. Glenn.
I'm not even going to comment. That is
that is nightmare fuel.
Hang on, let me just get some bleach. I just need to bleach my eye. That is no. Wow, he's got the motor gun with it as well.
Can we confirm? Is that him? Is he running his own face? Can someone in chat please ask that question?
Confirm. Is Godfrey running his own face all over that car? Well, I like that McLaren livery at the back there. It's nice, simple few red streaks, a lot of Simrigs on it, a lot of Octane on it. Nice and simple, classic. I like it.
Sorry, I'm still recovering from the six.
No, it's understandable. It's understandable.
So who's ready for? Well, we won't see the car park after our eyes have been burnt out by that this week.
Yeah, I can just.
But who's keen for the car park?
So keen for the car park. So keen for the turn 2 car park. Someone's going to go, we're going to call it now, someone's going to go over the inside curb, get a big bounce, and cause a safety car. What do we reckon?
Oh, absolutely. I'm going to hand it over to you guys. I'm going to ask you a question. You pick your winner here and now. Go.
Okay, let's go. I'm going to... Oh, it's hard to not say Rashmat. It is really hard. The only reason being is that he'll escape the calamity at the start, just purely being up the front, and he'll run away with it.
I'll be completely left field and say Brown in the silver for Porsche for complete, clout.
Let's go. Okay, I will.
Connor? Go on.
I will pick. I'm going to pick. I'm going to go with my teammate. I'm going to pick Mr. Hignett in P3.
Solid choice. I
As
think
we see-
they just picked Ferrari.
Giacomin question mark is in the pits. Giacomin has
he
either
not- Has he
he's
not
either-
click drive?
he's either not clicked drive or he has pulled out the 1000 IQ strat and has been listening in on YouTube and has decided, you know what, that turn 2 car park is not where I want to be. And as we, is that another Ferrari flashing in the background there?
Oh no, Ferrari pit strategy has gone wrong already.
What's
phasing
going on?
in.
We got Schrodinger's Ferrari in the background there. He's both on track and in the pits at the same time.
You're not allowed to be 2 places at once. That's cheating.
This is the Matrix, I'm telling you.
So yeah, Giacomin has decided to, we don't know if decides potentially the right word there. Maybe someone in chat can give us maybe a little bit of insight into that one. But he will be starting from the pit lane. He will be waiting for everyone to cross the line before he will be allowed to go. The cars will now come down in the mine shaft. They will now start lining up 2 by 2. Who wants to who wants to curse the crap out of this?
I will take the bait. I'm the sacrificial lamb for this split. I probably won't be here when Peach comes back.
Okay,
I will
let's
take
go.
it on. Double file. Yeah, very weird double filing this yet. Very, very, very late. But as they come to start now, hopefully everyone gets settled in time. Oh, it's all a bit over the place. I've been in some confusion now that Giacomin's in the pits. Now everyone's a bit confused. Where do they go? Left or right? Cotton Eye Joe. As they round through to the last corner, all we're going to look at is Rackmat and Steele and Hignett and Brown for the start. But Weatherburn is right up there as well. Gaps are plenty, but we'll see as we wait for those 5 red lights. Green, green, green as they go along, and Hignett is right there on the bumper of Rackmat as he looks to maybe, is there a gap up the inside? Is he going to go for it? He just stays on the bumper and has played it safe, but looks to have gone ahead of Steele at this point as his livery changed to a pink car for some reason. But we'll see. Oh no, we've got a spinner at the back, and looks like they've gone round and hit the wall. I believe that is 99, and unfortunately that is A Costa. But as you see, Hignett has gone ahead of Steele and now challenging for the lead on Rackmat. But Rackmat holding steady in the Bentley, going through Sunset.
Yeah, bit of sadness there at the back, but mostly for most of the field, it was pretty safe really in the grand scheme of things. As Wright has appeared in the pits finally. Good sir, get on the track. Yeah, as we watch these two kind of streak up towards the hairpin up top, it's gonna be a tough ask for Hignett to stay on the back of Rashmat, especially with the speed of the straight line of Bentley.
Yeah, you can see, look at it now, that gap that the Bentley's pulling already is insane. They come into the Crocodiles for the first time. Ferrari potentially a little bit better under brakes. Back up onto the back of that Bentley. We see that the gap to third and onwards is stretched out to about 7/10 now. So we'll see if these two fighting one another will bring Steele and Weatherburn back up into the fight for this, as we just take in the absolute speed that is this Bentley. As we see the fastest lap coming for the first time, which is not particularly accurate. That will be beaten this lap for sure. We do see that Giacomin has made a few positions already, as Costa, Smith and Tonkin seem to be the ones that were caught up in that little kerfuffle on the first lap. We do have Costa coming into the pits now, more than likely trying to repair the damage that he has copped. He won't be able to serve his mandatory pit stop, well, one of the mandatory pit stops, as the pit window has not opened yet. So unfortunately for him, it will be damage only, and he will not be able to tick one of those boxes off.
See some damage on the front and the rear of R. Smith, Haggis as he's known in the OES clan. Unfortunate, definitely someone who doesn't get a lot of luck, and I dare say he's probably on the inside line going into turn one, and was probably just in a sandwich train, to say at least, as everything Constantine is back through the grid, as everything slows up and there's drop back to further down. Unfortunate for the top 10 starter. We did see Brown did drop back a few positions as well from fourth, as Maturity Weatherburn did go forward. So yeah, interesting start. There was a little bit of a, probably not the cleanest. The race director probably wasn't too happy with that double file, as maybe it came a bit too late, and the confusion from what was happening with Giacomin as well. But looks like most of the grid it's been a relatively clean first few laps.
It'll be interesting to see. Yep, sorry.
We are starting to see, as Jack Steele puts in the 41.3, that'll probably come down over the race once the fuel lines off, but we are starting to see the top 6 is starting to break away from the rest of the pack. As you can see, Barker in 7th is 3 seconds off of Jake Brown, so we kind of have like a deal of 2 packs here, where there's obviously a couple of drivers who are just in a train far more consistent and quick than what appears to be the rest of the pack so far.
Yeah, absolutely. And Costa there with the DQ. So
It's an in-game
penalty. I'd say that would have been for pit shenanigans. As we see, there's a bit of sadness. 40. Is that 43? Looks like to be around. Yep, that's beaten. Beaten is around into turn 5 at Barbecue. So unfortunately for him, he will be doing the sad drive to try and get onto the back of the train here, as that is not going to help that cause. That is the esports line there. But yeah, no, Connor, I think you're right, mate. The front 6 really have started to run away with it a little bit. We did see that Brown did struggle through that last lap and has kind of dropped off a little bit. But he is trying to hold on to the back of this front pack of some top-name drivers. And here we see the first lot of penalties come through. David Barker, 15-second penalty for causing a collision lap 1. So as Fadley does a 40.7, that is cracking race pace. But potentially that might be where that split's occurred, Connor. They're now down to 5 seconds, so Barker definitely under attack by Greco, definitely slowing them up, but maybe there was a bit of an incident there that was caused by Barker in those opening laps that may have caused that extra divide.
Now, here's the thing, here's the question I'll put back onto you boys. I know the position I'd rather be in, but would you rather be Rashmat or Hignett right now, where, like, yeah, Rashmat's pumped out the fastest lap and his pace looks to be coming along, or would you rather be being towed along like how Hignett is right now?
It's so hard to pass. Yeah, I'd rather be the car in front, even though I do not do well being the car in front with a car in my mirror. Getting past here, if you don't make mistakes as the leading car, it can be very, very difficult.
Yeah, absolutely. I think at this point in time, Rashmat is definitely in the prime position. He'll be in control of this race. He'll be able to control depending on how much fuel he's put into that car, when he can take those pit stops, whether he's going to run it a little bit long, see where Hignett potentially pits it, whether Hignett goes to potential undercut. Maybe if we saw that, I mean, he's not losing pace at this point in time. He's remained in that 4/10th gap behind Rashman at the moment. So, and there he goes. He's just set the fastest lap. So Hignett could be, if he thinks he's got the pace, to potentially put an undercut in and put himself in front, and then that would be the prime position.
Boys are really pulling away from Weatherbird right now. It is a class of 2, looks like at the front. And definitely gap starting to form a little bit.
You say an undercut, I was thinking, like, if you're Hignett, and because, like, the Ferrari is really economical, do you overcut and make him chase you? Because the overcut is quite good here.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it depends how thirsty that Bentley is and how much fuel Rashmat's prepared to put in that. He might have gone a little bit light in order to try and get some of that extra pace on the front end of the race, just to try and build a gap. But at this point in time, Hignett is sticking right behind him in that 4 to 5/10 mark, as we see another penalty, 15-second penalty for Tonkin. For a collision on lap 1, so the collision penalties are rolling out, and we'll see as Rashmat just goes a little bit wide out of Cheetah, and just letting Hignett to hang on.
And this is, yeah, as you said, letting Hignett hang on, letting Hignett save fuel, letting yes,
Winding up.
Hignett, you may have changed the tides here, Connor, to the point of your question, because I think right now you might be, if you're Rashmat, you might be shaking your boots a little bit. You're seeing the fastest lap come out of Hignett, 2 laps in a row. Hignett's definitely got the pace.
I don't know, but Babs just said in YouTube chat that the Bentley is not thirsty at all, so it'll be interesting to see what kind of fuel level Rashmat has put in, or whether he's just nursing even.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, he could be just trying to keep those tyres in check. Hignett could be, for all we know, absolutely pushing his limit here and burning through those tyres relatively quickly. So tyres will play a little bit of the game here, but with 2 mandatory pit stops, if you're Hignett, realistically, you're going to use them up as much as you can.
Really good run for Hignett down the hill, but I think the Bentley just gets a little bit better top end come the end of the straight. So Hignett is not in a prime position to fire it down the inside for a braking zone. Just a note, just a reminder, there is 2 mandatory tyre stops for this race, so it's definitely going to dictate strategy. Running wide on the exit of Yita is not too bad if you've got the momentum, as it's granted it is grass, but it's not too deep and not too much of a different level to the tarmac and Astro, unlike a lot of areas at different circuits. So run as wide as you like, in my opinion.
Yeah, we did see Rashmat use a lot more of the exit there. What did you call it, Yita? Was that what you were calling it?
We were calling it all through Split Yellow, as we decided. So now it's probably just ingrained a little bit.
No, it definitely works.
Was it crocodile or something?
Well, it's I think Australians would say crocodiles. I think I'd like to say crocodiles because of South Africa. I think is the pronunciation. It's a snap for Hignett on the entry. And that's gonna lose them a little bit of momentum, and it is all about momentum here at Kyalami, especially through the S's here. Bentley able to use a little bit more curbage than the Ferrari, as it keeps it tight on the exit. Yes, it does. Got the aero, no aero wash from me in the Ferrari coming into the braking for Lukop. Nice and entry, good entry, good traction, very good traction from the Ferrari as ever. It's one of the strongest parts, and then down into mine shaft.
So yeah, that could have been a little moment there where we think potentially the tyres maybe wearing away a little bit. Hignett might be sending it quite a lot. But he has managed to hold on. He's still right on the back there. Crashmat every time just goes very wide out through Cheetah using all the track and some.
I reckon to be more than tyre wear because the road is quite on tyre wear. I think it was a bit more of draft and like dirty air.
Bit of aero wash.
Just caught him off guard a little bit. So we'll see how he goes
for
this lap
sure.
round.
You're very nice to your teammates. I'd be like, if I was my teammate, I'd be like, he's rubbish, driver error.
I don't
It's completely
lambast
washed.
him like I don't lambast him like I do Brad in public, but like behind the scenes, I'll be in there and I'll be like you're an absolute million, you know.
Fair enough. I mean, I'm very curious to hear. So, like Bobby said, the Bentley is supposed to be a bit frugal on fuel. Definitely, I think the Ferrari would definitely be in that camp as well. It seems to be frugal everywhere. But I'd be interested to see what the tyre life is on that Bentley. Whether he's really having to use them hard, like say a BMW or one of the other big front engine beasts in comparison to the Ferrari. Still a good aero platform for the most part on that Bentley. But yeah, I think corner entry and corner entry speed is where Hignett in the Ferrari is really making a lot of speed on the Bentley. It doesn't have that sharpness and turn in of the Ferrari.
Yeah, and you can see where he loses it too, because the Ferrari has no mid-corner whatsoever, and it has a turbo the size of Tasmania strapped to it. So, yes, it has no get up and go out of the corner. So, like as you can see, the Bentley just kind of, once he pulls up on him, it just kind of gets away again.
Yes, Bentley, a very interesting car when it comes to getting on the power. I think it's a very weird sort of like large axle rear diff. Oh dear, as Greco has gone around for what looks like to be a half spin, has dropped back. He was fighting with Barker for that sort of high top 10, and he's now coming into the pits to get his probably first mandatory stop done. Unfortunately, because there was a bit of a train forming behind Greco. We might have to see what happened there with a replay.
Yeah, come in, get some fresh boots, and try again. Especially if you have had a bit of a spin or had an issue, best to get rid of some of that tyre wear out of the way and just put some fresh boots on. We jump on board with Vintner, who is cruising and looking very pacey actually. In 8th currently behind Barrela, who has definitely made his way up the field, but there is a train starting to form with Turcolini and Giacomin up there in 10th. Turcolini is sent around. We've got to get a replay of that. Was that assisted from Giacomin behind him?
And you owe Turcolini a bill. Send him the bill, Lukey.
I think that was Turcolini having a half spin and then unfortunately being collected at the same time, so a double wham for the Porsche driver. Unfortunate. He was doing well leading Pro-Am. Might still be leading Pro-Am, to be honest, at the end of this, as it was quite far ahead of Godfrey. But yes, doing a very good job up there. Unfortunate to see, but we'll find out what happened in due course. But I guess we'll see him in with those tyres having a little bit of a heat cycle from that spin, as speaking of which, Vintonet comes in the Mercedes.
Yeah, smart move by Vintner. You could tell he was definitely being held up by the number 16 Ferrari. So come in, get some fresh rubber, and hopefully would be aiming for an undercut on that one. As we see, so Giacomin has made his way up from the back of the field into the top 10. It'll be interesting to see if there was a little bit of contact there between him and Turcolini, who will be now on a little bit of a recovery drive. He hasn't gone into the pits, so maybe tyre wear for him wasn't so much of an issue, but we'll see now just how far Giacomin can get himself up the field. He's only 2.5 seconds behind 7th Barrelon, so yeah, see how far we're looking to be getting on the back of, well, the top 5 with Barker with that 15-second penalty.
Yeah, and if he has tapped him when Thirkolini's had kind of like a half spin, there'll definitely be a PM coming his way, which is unfortunate. As you see,
Barlon's just topped 5.
I was going to say, when we
Ooh.
when we cut to Vintada a while ago, we did see him right behind Barrelon going into turn 1, and Vintada looked to the inside, and then Barrelon basically kind of looked like he reacted as soon as Vintada went left and kind of just shut the door, a la some F1 driver style. And I think that's not been too light from the stewards, to say the least, as Babby did mention that in the chat as well.
Yep, no, you can't be doing that. Can't have
Dangerous driving into 5 seconds.
Yeah.
That was what lap 4 was by me.
This is a replay on board with Giacomo, so it does look like technically he was just a little bit slow on exit. May potentially felt like the rear of that Porsche was not 100% planted, and Giacomo has managed to finish the job, so yes, we'll be expecting a penalty to come his way.
Yeah, we'll see if Thirkolini is reported that as well. Like, not too certain on that one. Yeah, we'll leave that one to the stewards.
Yeah, absolutely.
Still a fight. Oh, Barrelon's gone for a hard spin, speaking of which,
Whoa.
and has lost out to Giacomin. Another freebie for him.
So a bit of tough there between Barker and Barrelon. The elbows are out.
That's the thing too, like if Giacomo is climbing back up the grid like what he's doing now, all these battles will just allow him kind of 3 opportunities to get through.
And Vintada will probably be benefiting from those two fighting in particular.
Absolutely.
I think Giacomin will probably get past Vintada, but Barker and Barrelon fighting, which was a bit more of Vintada's pace, closer to Vintada's pace, will definitely be benefiting him greatly with the undercut.
We have Rashudi in pit lane as well.
You see
And
Giacomo comes in now.
Good to see the pit board still there.
Be interesting to see how these front two. It'd be interesting to see how these front two, who've gapped Weatherburn by 7.5. Who's going to blink first, or do you? If you're Rashmat, do you try and like fake him out to get him to go in, or if you're Hignett, do you just follow him in, just mirror what he does?
Coming out to a car just before the S's, I think it's going to be too far ahead, thankfully, for these two. But anything could dictate this this running right now. The smallest of things can happen. Whereas Hignett uses every bit of AstroTurf on the exit. Love to see it.
Yeah, I think Hignett has to potentially decide on what he needs to do here on the basis of, does he go for an undercut? Does he have enough fuel for an overcut? I don't know if following Rashmat into the pits would be the call that he'll make. I feel like he's got to make a decision either side of that, because being Kyalami, he's now been behind Rashmat, clearly with pace, but he's been behind him now for 20 minutes.
Oh, that's wide.
He goes very wide, and yep, no, he's just like, you know what? That's my opportunity. I'm going to go in the pits right now.
That'll be a 10-4-2 loss, to say the very least. Good job from Plummer as well in the 76 green Ferrari, getting out of the way, not affecting that battle whatsoever.
Well, good in that by Hignett too as well, so chasing Rashmat. So now, if you're Rashmat, do you pit to cover him off like nearly instantly, or do you just keep going?
Rashmat's got no cars ahead, so it's perfect for him.
Oh, yeah, I thought they might have seen a few blue cars potentially on the map there, but it looks like they've well and truly passed, 76. So they've let him through, and he's got clear track for the next sector. So I think maybe if you're Rashmate, you just run it out. If you've got plenty of fuel and you're not burning too much, I think you just go for it and you just try and extend it out as much as you can.
As we watch Hignett come out of the pit, so he hasn't dropped too far, and he's in fresh air with fresh boots too, so it'll be interesting to see what kind of few outlaps he can put in to kind of put the pressure back on Rackmat.
Ah! Magic!
Is that no SIG PC?
The movie magic behind the scenes, the ever-changing liberty. Oh,
Whoa.
dear. I think that is right in the 67. No, sorry, that's someone else. That's 14.
No, it's
43 beaten.
yeah, that would be beaten in the 43 McLaren, who has gone for a bit of a tumble there. He's feeling the effects of that one, and then there's a very second-hand looking McLaren. I said it looked nice before, but yeah, there we go. We've got Rashmat in the pit, so he's not mucking about. He's going to cover off Hignett as much as he can.
471 coming through Mineshaft now and into Crocodiles. It'll be interesting to see. It's going to be tight. It's going to be close. Hopefully the case, and not no pit stop errors have caused this. As he comes through, doesn't become a Ferrari space program at Yita and into Ingwe. Still not
Rashmat
moving.
hasn't started. He's just dropped down on the jacks. I think
He's
Hignett's
far
going
down
to
the
get
pit.
him.
Ignatz might get him.
He might get him here, full pelt.
Gone past him.
Got him.
And he has,
Got him.
absolutely.
Excellent outlaps from Hignett, surely as well. Or whether there was maybe Hignett, Rackman got stopped, had to be adjusted. There's quite a gap that has come out. Let's see, a 10-second penalty for Giacomin collision on lap 1. It's going to help his recovery whatsoever.
Yep, so that would have been for the hit on Takalini that we saw in the replay. But yeah, Hignett, few seconds on Rashmat there, so Rashmat may have missed the box a little bit, or had a bit of an issue coming into the pits. So it'll be really interesting to see if Hignett does have the legs to try and extend that gap.
Yeah, it feels like a lot of time to make up in a lap, to say the least. You don't make 2 seconds up on Rackmat. Just in the corners, I will say. But, yep, excellent driving from Hignett so far. I was a little unsure whether he had the pace at the start, as we did see that early fast lap from Rackmat, but he did definitely wind himself up and is looking strong in the Ferrari.
Yeah, absolutely. It'll be interesting to see. We'll keep an eye on that Delta, see if that Bentley does manage to catch up to that Ferrari, and see whether Rashmat does have, I guess, a similar issue and isn't potentially able to find a spot to pass. As we jump on board now with Rad right up on the back of Molly here. As they come into Mineshaft, it looks like the Porsche does have the legs in the straight line. Kind of got a bit of a better exit there, but we'll see how they come in under brakes into the Crocodiles. As we see Molly go a little bit defensive there, and this will bring Smith kind of back onto this little battle pack. Of course, all 3 drivers here at the moment have completed their first mandatory pit stop.
That's
We've got
really
one pit
close.
stop to
Rad's
go.
got to be careful getting that close on the mid corner, because the smalls of tabs can just send the car around. But yeah, that's racing as well. There's the carefully measured part of it that dictates the battles to come.
Yeah, absolutely. So we've had Barrelon up the top has pit, and he's got the 5 seconds. So what's the gap like? So yeah, Hignett's kind of cleared Rashmak by a little bit, in that stop alone.
Yeah, he was up 2 seconds going into the coming out of the first sector. So as we see Rad just lose the rear of that Ferrari, and that's going to bring Smith right up onto the back of him. Muller's wiping the brow and got a little bit of breathing room at the moment, as he's all up over the curb as well, sending that Ferrari into all sorts. But yeah, Rashmat has been fluctuating a little bit between the 1.5 to 1.8 second gap there from Hignett. So we will keep an eye on that. We will see if that delta does significantly drop. But we'll stay on board with Rad at the moment, who is the rejoin of Beaton. That
is a nasty corner or complex to do that.
Yeah, come in, mate. We do see Beaton come into the pits. He's got a bit of damage on the front of that car, and he'll complete what will be his final mandatory pit stop, but he is a couple of laps down. So anyway, we'll see if Rad does manage to get back on the back of Muller. He's had a couple of moments in the last few laps. It has been very spicy for him.
I don't think he's running TC6 in that Ferrari. Or TC7.
It's all very skillery. It's all over the place at the moment.
Yeah, I don't. From what I've seen of a lot of quick Ferrari drivers, none of them go quicker by being crossing up every corner on exits.
You are correct.
I had a good chat with Hobbsy in the box last week about where the Ferrari is strong and where it's not. Definitely. All the experts.
Winding all over the exits of corners is probably not its strong suit.
No.
As we see, our race leader of Barrelin has entered the pits. He will serve that 5-second penalty, and our true race leaders of Hignett and Rashmat will go past. Still maintaining that 1.6 second gap. So that has not changed much at all. Running basically exactly the same pace at the moment.
Good battle forming for Pro-Am honours right now between Godfrey and Greco. Only about 1 second. I thought Fercolini might have been able to hold on to Pro-Am honours.
God!
Oh, why did I forgot! It was this car. I wouldn't have mentioned it. Otherwise, what have I done? Oh,
you've just cursed the stream. It's demonetized, I think, from this point onwards, so that's unfortunate.
I regret accepting to do split screen commentary. Never again. No, nothing personal, boys. It's just this car.
So Barrelin's come out in 8th after his pit, and he's now just in front.
He's further back.
Oh no, he's dropped further back. That was Kunos doing Kunos things, it seems like. So we have Giacomin in 6th. Vintner up the road in 7th. So he has definitely cleared this group. So he's definitely managed to secure the undercut there. We see now Rashuti on screen in 4th, up in a great position, right on the back of Weatherburn. So definitely looking very pacey in that Lamborghini at the moment.
I was gonna say, I was watching this, whether this was developed this way, because they looked like they were kind of just matching each other for a good many laps right now. But we'll see what Ricciuti can produce as Weberburn, you're a stable operator in the Ferrari, and yeah, no free passes here when it comes to overtakes, to say the least. You gotta really work for it.
Yeah, absolutely.
We're at the halfway mark. Keep pushing.
So we've now just hit the halfway mark of the race. It looks like just about everybody has done one mandatory pit stop at this point in time, and the 30-minute weather marker is telling me that it will still be sunny and optimum for the rest of this race. So your rain dancers chat did not work. I'm very disappointed. You should all be ashamed of yourselves. With the only driver to complete both mandatory pit stops is Beaton in the 43 McLaren.
I think Godfrey's had an issue. 2-on-1's going slowly. It was a yellow on track at turn 1. Sorry to interrupt.
Godfrey in the cursed NSX is slowly dropping down the field. He may have had an issue. There may be a problem on that car other than just the way that it looks.
Cursed livery, cursed things happened. All is right in the world.
Cursed
gonna say,
livery, cursed car, cursed things, cursed gear, cursed face.
Split.
Commentator curses. I haven't had too many, actually, commentator curses. I think we used all our coupons up on that first 12 hour.
Oh, the sadness.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, absolutely. So, yeah, at this point in time, a lot of the gaps have stabilised. We do see Rashmat has slowly crept up on Hignett just by a couple of tenths. We see Rashudi and Weatherburn at the moment keeping that gap of less than half a second relatively stable. He will be looking to try and just inch himself just a little bit closer up on Weatherburn. See if he can force an error out of that Ferrari. Brown 5 seconds behind this battle group in the Porsche, and G. Coleman 7 to 8 seconds behind him, who does have a 10-second penalty, so that will drop him below Vintner. So Vintner has jumped up a few spots in his undercut, which is awesome for him. And then Greco another 7 seconds behind that. Who then has Barrelon behind him for about a second. So this will be probably the most exciting action on track at the moment, as you see Rashudi goes very deep into the hairpin. He's a little bit squirrely at the apex and loses a ton of momentum down into Mineshaft. We'll see if he'll be able to grab any of that space back under brakes, very deep under brakes there. Manages to pull up perfectly under the apex and make all that time back very wide on the exit, using all the track. And he goes through Yeeta and makes all of that pace back up. So Rashudi definitely got the legs.
Definitely probably got a bit more downforce thinking a Lamborghini over the Ferrari. I'm sure probably Connor can elaborate on where the Ferrari's error levels are, but I know the Lambo's not lacking for error in any respects.
Yes.
Thank you from Connor there. Yes. That was the
Yeah, no,
Insight from Connor is being incredible.
Dude, that's Rackman. I was going to say,
What has happened?
What has happened on the straight?
We
Yeah.
need a replay.
We need to see some of that. Rashmat in the Bentley is sideways and parked on the side of the straight. What has gone on here? This is just potentially just handed Hignett the absolute win. And
Oh, and you've gone and cursed it.
If Hignett crashes it from now on, he can send his invoice to Lockback 9999 Crow's Nest, New South Wales. We are waiting for a replay, guys. We will be bringing that up shortly. We're just going to get the hamster's wheel going.
Yeah, Babby says hard, man. Here we go.
Down the straight.
She's not turning. She's dead center.
Yeah, not turning. It's...
Oh, it's got to be disconcerting.
We've had
that's...
a wheel disconnect. That is absolute sadness. Can I please go to neck and chat?
Well, you have force feedback now. My wheel never gives me force feedback if I restart it mid-game.
Yeah, same. But I think that's a gutting way to, like, you know, get out of the battle.
Yeah, he's still in it, but yeah, unfortunately.
He's sat there for a long time, so you see even Minton come past on this one. So the top 6-7 cars were separated. Rashmat's gone off again. That wheel is done. That is absolutely heartbreaking.
I think he's pulled it. I think that's yeah, I'm worried that he may have no force feedback after restarting it. And I don't blame him for not wanting to drive with no force feedback for another 25 minutes.
Yeah, you can do it to yourself, really. It just wouldn't be fun.
No, so
Brown has gone ahead of that. And Brown is right up there now.
Where's Rashudi? Rashudi, who was fighting Weatherburn, has gone into the pits.
Yeah. What has happened with the 3 penalties from third to fifth?
Yeah, it's all stacking up.
Vintner and Brown have just both copped 15-second penalties apiece. So I don't know if there's been a bit of calamity while we've been watching replays here, but something has gone on.
Jake Brown causing a collision on lap 13. Ben Bintner causing a collision on lap 8. And
Oh, these are very early penalties. Okay.
Lap 6
Back
causing
marker
a
penalties,
collision.
I reckon.
Wreckfest is next week, boys. Please.
So we're talking
Yeah,
like
come on, lads.
10 laps or so ago. So this has been, the stewards have been brewing on these ones. They've been thinking about it. So clearly they're not as clear cut as they potentially were made out to be. But that's just put the entire top order into absolute chaos.
I wonder if
it'll
it's
be
like
Weber
blue
Bird.
flag penalties or something, like traversing blue flags.
So Rashuti here potentially could be in a really prime position here to take second step of the podium.
P4 is going to be all to play for, though, surely, because I think, Ricciuti was ahead of those 3 cars before he pitted, so he should be in good standing to resume that. So Weberbert and Ricciuti suddenly now on for podium places, but P4 behind is all to play for with 3 penalties. Let's find out this round. Coming up to Julian Gray in the NSX behind Ricciuti.
Shoved him out of the way.
Stop going again. Looks like not too much damage, not too much time lost. But the penalty will rectify that.
It is unfortunate. As we see, a lot of the field coming in, completing a lot of their final mandatory pit stops. So that 20-minute mark, Yoda's in. We'll see where Rashuti comes out relative to that. Hignett has just been absolutely cruising off into the sunset.
What do you think he's listening to right now?
Miami Dreams. I don't know.
What would you listen to? I mean, he's got Tracy Chapman Fast Car playing right now.
Yeah, in the GTR, I was listening to Eurobeat All Up Bathurst last week.
I'm not saying I don't like Eurobeat, but probably gets sickening after a while.
In the GTR, never. As we do see that Rashuti has jumped Weatherburn in the pits here. The undercut has worked well. We know that Rashuti was looking very pacey on the back of Yoda there, so does not surprise me that Rashuti has made the jump. It'd be interesting to see if Rashuti can run away with this a little bit. The timing boards have not updated yet, but yeah, we'll see where they all turn out. So this will be provisional P2 and 3 on screen now. And as Cam said before, P4 all to play with is Ray Smith now ends up with a 10-second penalty on lap 19. What is happening?
I think...
Very disappointed in all of you.
So hear me out, boys, hear me out, right? I think the whole grid should just implode, and they should all start at different points on the track, at different corners, and just send it. No holds barred.
Higman's on for a surefire win at this rate. You want to change things up?
Yes.
Can we just jump into the back end of the server and just dump rain right now?
Monsoon levels of rain.
Is that possible? Glenn, please get the hamsters running. Let's dump a storm.
Tom Maloney in chat says, yeah, we've lost Muller. And apparently Fercolini's going.
Hey.
What is going on?
He's still there, but he's in the pit.
He's in the pits.
Oh dear, oh dear, oh dear.
Rashmat's managed to decide to stay, but
it's going to be a long stop for Barrelon. He's having to reverse.
Oh, he's having to back up. So, well, Barrelon was in the running for a top 4 based on the 2.
Yeah.
And then Muller was going to be up there in 5th potentially, but then if Barrelon had stuffed up his pit stop, Muller could have been potentially on the back of that. So the grid is imploding at a very slow rate.
Yes. Yes.
Who's next?
Who's next? Who can we pick on next, boys?
It's like the opposite of a curse. It's whoever we're on at the moment stays clean and the rest of the grid seems to disappear.
You're all good, Damiano. We got you now.
Ah,
we got you, man.
With his
There we go.
DT!
We should
what
not
is-
be allowed in the comms box.
What is going on? So, unfortunately for Muller there, who appears to have properly DC'd and is out of there. Don't know if there's any chance of him jumping back in. But yeah, it's just a case of just bad goes to worse for everybody on the grid. These top 10 positions, the top 5 even, were all up for play here, and it's just completely disintegrated underneath everyone. And we might have some real contenders from a little bit lower down in the grids. We might even have Greco there in Pro-Am potentially make a couple of moves.
Yeah, absolutely, and especially... Whoa, as you cannot park there, good sir.
Not sure it would make much difference to Kyalami's race, but that was going to be a collision or not anyway. But that was unfortunately beaten 43, going for another spin. That's been a mixed race for that. For him, kudos to Julian Gray, as someone who is in needing of a good result up there in P9. Yet to do a stop though, but with the attrition rate right now, I think he's on for a win.
Yeah, well, he just has to get the clean pit stop in 15 minutes of driving, 14 minutes of driving, and bam, like, you're on here for a top 10 in the M-Class drive. This is kind of turning into a race of attrition. Whose hardware and whose non-comms curses can last the longest?
That's why Hignet's saving his pit stop to the last minute, probably.
Yeah, he's just overhearing me. He can hear me going, no.
Where's Chris Taylor? He's one of your teammates. He's going to be in this race.
I believe he is out of town making the trek to Bathurst.
Ah, that's
The pilgrimage.
The pilgrimage.
I believe
exactly.
so.
Good on him. I was going to say, I did see him switch to the NSX, which is probably a good reason why he's not here, because that thing's dog rubbish.
I mean, he could have like raced from like his car or something. Like he shouldn't. Like if he had real commitment.
Yeah. Set up the second steering wheel in the back and put a screen up.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. I can see it easily being done. I don't know what the issue is.
Just lack of commitment, I hear.
Do you even... Color with a DT!
I've seen that turn red and I was like,
Bang.
oh, people have
Another-
not been practicing their pit stop entries, guaranteed.
Another bullet in
we
the
don't even
cylinder.
need...
Oh, God!
There's absolute send from Brown.
100% intentional.
Wow.
He saw Brown had cleared his penalty and was like, I need a red square there. Please give it to me.
I
It's Hignet. Oh, he has to
he
reverse.
had to back up.
Oh, no, he's going to be down to 24-second lead now.
Wait, is that
Oh,
Tokolimi's
boo-hoo.
back in the pits again? Tokolimi hasn't served his final pit stop. I don't know what's happened there, but he is now in the pits for the third time. And
Yeah,
yeah,
we tried for a week last time.
we are now actually going to commentate. It just seems to be that whatever happens, we don't need to comment on what's going on track because something always seems to be happening elsewhere. All right, Hignet's off. He's out of the pit lane. He doesn't have a drive-through penalty.
Absolutely unheard of scenes in this split.
That would have just been it. And Rashidi coming across for the win after a Hignet drive-through would have been absolutely incredible, but Hignet's nailed it, ish. He had to back up a little bit, but didn't didn't cause any problems via speeding, so he is off and clear. He's got about 12 seconds between, according to the kudos board, about 12 seconds between him and Rashudi.
So, where has Rashudi overtaking Weatherburn on the track or
Pits.
through the pits?
Pits.
The undercut.
Pits.
Oh,
He got the undercut.
Right,
He pit
okay.
early. He pit real early.
Yeah, he's
And,
definitely caught him up heaps there then.
Yep. So Weatherburn's about 2 seconds behind at the moment. Slowly watching that delta bleed away. Actually, as Rashudi does have the pace.
I suppose
Vincent
Rashudi's
has
tyres
dropped
will
back
go
so
off
far.
earlier though. Where's
Yeah.
Vincent?
Can't still. I thought Vincent would be high. Oh, he also had a penalty as well, didn't he?
He also copped a 15-second penalty.
Disappointing. Not
So
mad. Disappointing.
Brown looks like, even though he copped a penalty before as well, G. Coman's now got that DT, so that'll bring Brown up, potentially back up into 5th at this point. It'll be interesting to see. We do have Barlon and Barker both in the pits at the moment, so they're one of the last couple of drivers to do their final mandatory pit stop. We see the leaders come past. So Rashudi only 6 seconds behind Hignett. So Rashudi's definitely made that gap up. He's looking very pacey at the moment. Weatherburn's dropped down to about 2.1. As we jump on board with Brown, we will see now that he will potentially come out in front of Barker.
What happened to Hignett? Because I swear he had like a 10 or 15 second lead over Rashudi and Weatherburn in the early parts of the phase.
He did, and Rashudi's slowly been reeling him in. He was 6 point something before. He's now down to 5.9. So Rashudi is the fastest man on track at this point in time.
Yeah.
Barrelon, what's happened to? I thought Barrelon had gone into the pits to do his final mandatory stop, but he has.
Ben has had, by the last lap, Ben's had a whoopsie somewhere along the line.
Yeah, I was going to say that's a lot. He should be a lot further.
He did have to back up. He did have to back up in that pit stop. That would have been a good couple of seconds that he would have lost out on that stop. So
He's trying to throw this one.
anything can happen, but he's just lost half a second again. As Rashudi's now down to 5.4. So Rashudi's definitely got the pace.
Maybe he has had a spin. Maybe those tires are a little bit scorching.
Barrelon was out in the lead and was, I assumed, had come in for his final mandatory pit stop, but his marker has not ticked off, and he's not as far down the field as what
It smells like a short
so
stop. That doesn't smell like a 30-second minimum tire change.
no, he's either just done fuel accidentally or he's driven through not I don't know, potentially not with his correct tires sorted or something. He's managed to not get that one correct.
Just throwing a bunch of time away as Jake comes
That
in
is
for his DT.
definitely
No
not
one
the
wants a
strat.
result at all. Yeah.
No one wants to finish. Everyone wants the DC.
Yes, Scarlet. We have a box full of GTR gangs. Cricky is here in spirit. But yes, full of GTR Sados.
GTR revival when?
Well, I tried last weekend.
Oh, last week I was at Silverstone. Is still awful for that car. I don't care what
Bathurst. I'm not driving the
Bathurst,
GTR
yes,
in the
bro.
Sprint Series.
Oh, Silverstone is still hopeless at Silverstone, even though Pip can do 57.
Yeah,
It's,
Kevin, you're in Split Red, aren't you? You're in Split Red with me.
Yes. I am in Split Red.
You're
Oh, that's right,
picking
yeah.
the bad tracks for it, right? It's got a few rough gems, but you know, you just slap on
yes.
that Eurobeat and away you go.
That's it.
I think it's not terrible here at Kyalami. It's not great, but with the midline punch, with a lot of corners here, like a lot of them are sort of these mid-speed corners where you can make up some decent amount of time if you've got the power. So, but I'm
You've got
speaking
the
for
power.
one.
And also the
You don't have the
aerodynamics
traction.
of a block of cheese.
Yes.
I am looking forward to the
But I'm in
Sushi
front.
Rolls resurgence.
I did see. Yes, we went side by side. I went. I was quite annoyed. I watched the replay back. I did an excellent overtake on you. Definitely not because you got taken out by John Sneakers. And they didn't even commentate on it. They were just like, watched it happen.
No, we
Went round the
were
outside.
side by side for ages. They did because they noted that you got the drag down the back straight last week.
Yes.
You
And then
absolutely
tried
dragged me
to-
down the straight in the McLaren. You had all the straight line speed there.
And then I was on the outside and tried to brake like I had the normal racing line. Then went off the track.
Yeah, no, that wasn't going to work, and you disappeared off into the sand.
It was a better race than race 1, put it that way. Race 2 was much better. Just used to qualify. So
Look,
30 minutes.
yeah, look, Split Blood lived up to its name last week. It was a bit of murder.
Oh yes, I got taken out
But
3 times by the same person in one race.
But
I was not happy.
I dare say that that's not quite the same as what's happened here. I don't know what kind of murders have occurred tonight in Split Green and what weird DC shenanigans and hardware failures have plagued Split Green for tonight. I don't know what curses have become upon them, but we look
Because
at
they're all
the-
not in GDRs. That's
That's
why.
because they're not all in GTRs. I agree, Connor. Absolutely.
Ah,
Yeah, I was gonna say like he came into the box, but he didn't drop back much.
Yeah, so we're just getting insider information that Barrelon completed an 8-second stop while he was out in the lead, so that definitely doesn't qualify for the 30-second mandatory tyre swap.
And he has
that
to box
should
this
have, and he's
lap.
got to
He's
box
just gone
again.
round again. He's just
If
he's at
he
turn 1
does
now.
not box at the end of this lap, he is going to cop the almighty, what is it, 130-second penalty?
Paddling.
An absolute paddling.
Yeah,
he's
I
going
think
to
he
cop
is.
the wailing of the gods.
He's gonna have to take a Godfrey livery.
That's the penalty of this split.
Oh no. Please no. Well, it looks like Hignet's come back up to pace because that gap between him and Rashudi is still managed to balance out to that 5.2. So it looks like Rashudi and Hignet are punching out lap for lap at this point in time. So that gap has stabilized, but fantastic job from Rashudi so far to get himself up into the second position. Yoda stabilizing at about 2 seconds behind him as well, so he's done a great job keeping on to the bottom step of the podium. And it'll be interesting to see. We've got Brown, Greco, Giacomin after doing his DT. There's a short DT here at Kyalami, so Giacomin's only 5 seconds behind Greco, and knowing the pace of Giacomin, with just under 6 minutes to go. Definitely 6 is still up for grabs there. Then we've got Vintner in 8th.
It's all about to shift up
9th.
that way.
Yeah, and Godfrey, please don't cut to him in 10th. But yeah, as Barrelin does come into the pits, he has made the right move. Oh, yeah.
I knew as soon as you said don't.
Too soon, Glenn. Too soon. But Barrelin's in the pits now. He has made the right call and has boxed it before the pit window closing in 5 seconds. So it'll be interesting to see where he comes out. I dare say he might make it in
Still
front
not
of
moving.
Smith's gone past. He's going to be there for a long time, so he might come out in front of I'm just going to stop talking now.
Have we had someone miss the second pit stop altogether?
Mate, yeah.
Yes, he's on screen right now.
Yes.
Or Mrs. Nico Samald.
Oh. Giacomin comes past.
That is a very broken-looking McLaren who has unfortunately missed not just his opportunity to fix that damage and swap his tyres, but he's going to be missing out on a whole lot of lap time because that's going to be paddling.
Look, So we know 2 people this week who are going to come next week with Godfrey liveries. That's without the original Godfrey livery.
And I'm taking next week off and not commentating for the sake of my eyesight.
Your retinas would just be burred.
If you jump on back with Hignett, he has the fastest lap. He's extended his gap from Rashudi. Rashudi did take an early second pit stop to get that undercut underway. So he will be feeling that tyre life at this point in time. He has dropped off the back of Hignett ever so slightly by about half a second, but that has brought Weatherburn half a second back into play. So as he goes very deep into the hairpin, he's out wide. Whoa. That's going to bring Weatherburn back in. I think second place might not necessarily be secure here, let's.
Yeah, Weatherburn is on a charge, especially with the fresher rubber coming up towards the worn rubber of Rashudi. So this might be a battle that kind of comes to fruition in the last couple of laps.
I think Rashudi did box just after the half an hour mark, so he has been on that for quite a while, at least 25 minutes on that set.
Yeah, it was a great undercut, but he'll be feeling the pain of that now. Yep, his last lap was a 141.7, so absolutely that is, as we see, Weatherburn's done a 41.4, so he's only marginally faster though, so I may be eating my words and talking out of my butt as he slides through barbecue.
It's quite a skill to talk out your butt.
Thank you.
I
appreciate that.
I think you need to get that looked at, because that's not normal.
What, talking out of my butt?
Yes.
Yeah, no, I have an appointment Monday.
Excellent.
Just as you guys are so concerned. Yeah, no, Weatherburn, after that 6th slide, has now dropped to 2 seconds behind Rashudi, so it looks like he's also used up all of that tyre with only 90 seconds left on the clock.
Is it hard to get a track limits here? I feel like I haven't seen it in both splits, no drive-throughs for track limits at all. Is it kind of I thought it was quite easy to get them here, but
There's
not.
like certain points where it's easy, but it's not like the whole track, if that makes sense. So like this corner coming up is quite easy on exit to get a track limit, because you see you have to extend all the way out. Just after the S's on the exit there, it's quite easy to get a track cut, as well as through Sunset.
Yeah, I remember the exit of S's was really annoying, because even if you kept it on the AstroTurf, it would still give you a track limit. Which feels a bit unfair.
Yeah, that's one of the weird ones where if you just the rest of the game, it seems to give you a little bit of leniency in terms of some of the white lines here, but that's one where the moment it's a fraction of a millimeter over the white line, it'll bin your lap. Well, we're on the final lap now. Hignett has started the last lap. He still maintaining that rough mid 5.5 second gap to Rashudi. Weatherburn, that battle never really eventuated, so everyone's pace has kind of settled down a little bit. Brown in 4th, leading the Silver Class, and Greco in 5th, leading the Pro-Am, and Julian Gray in 15th, leading AM at the moment. And that seems to be just about settled at this point in time. I don't see on the timing boards any particularly close battles occurring at this point, so I dare say, as Hignett comes through the Crocodiles for the last time into Utah and through the last corner, he will come across the line in first. Excellent choice by yourself, Connor, there to back Hignett. He's done an incredible race. Unfortunately there by Rash Matt, who was his one challenger to have a hardware issue. He'll be very happy with that one. Rashudi comes across in second. He'll be also extremely happy with that. Weatherburn in third. A great race by this top three. And we see Brown come through Yeeta. He is absolutely yeeted it. He's taken that to heart.
Oh, show off.
Adrian, what a show off. Here he goes. He would be happy with
Well
fourth. He's
done.
loving that. Wins the
car
silver
park,
class.
Wembley.
He is very happy with that. Loving it. And sends it.
Greco comes across the line in fifth. Good drive by him to have a silver and a pro-am in the top 5. You can't complain about that.
No,
Good
not
race
at all.
there.
G. Cameron comes across in 6th after starting last and looking very beat up. And Vintner, despite having a penalty, comes across in 7th. Barker in 8th. And Godfrey 9th in that cursed NSX. And Smith, despite having a few issues at the start of the race and a 10-second penalty, he has come up into 10th. We'll see. It looks like Rad will steal that spot. Rad will jump up into 10th. Smith will drop down. And Barrelon in 12th. Tonkin in 13th. And Plummer 14th.
It's Julian Gray. We had Julian Gray at the end. Oh, there he is. He disconnected already.
He already had jumped out. Connor, do you want to do the final honours, mate?
Can't curse anyone now.
Absolutely. No, we can't, unfortunately. So, as we go through the final results, we had Ben Higner in P1. What a drive by him. He probably would have wanted the battle. P2 was Rashuti, and P3 was Weatherburn. As we move on to our silver class, we have Jake Brown taking the top step with silver, Ray Smith in P2 and Tonkin in P3. As we move on to the Pro-Am class, Greco with a great drive for 5th takes out P1. Godfrey in that absolutely retina-burning NSX in P2, and Rad in P3. And as we look towards the AM class, our 2 AMs of the field were Gray and Beaton, who both did good drives for their class.
Race of attrition, but that sums up. Split green, nice high and dry split, race of attrition, but all for the end. Good job to Hignet. Definitely, it could be good to know, and took the position before Rackmat's issue. Let's see, Geo comment there in P5.
Well, that was definitely an interesting race to watch. No doubt chat was also wondering what the bloody hell's going on there, but chat, I ask you to like this video on the basis of absolute chaos tonight. And thank you for joining us. Connor, Cam, thanks for joining me in the box tonight. It's been an absolute pleasure. And everyone else, we'll see you tomorrow night for splits blue and red.
Thanks, everyone. Thanks for watching in chat. And thanks, Luke. Thanks, Cam, for joining us. And thanks, Glenn and Mull, for putting on the show.
Thank you. Good night.